You didn't hear the beginning, but music was still playing. Aldean was playing, and then the shots rang out, and it took a few seconds for people to understandably recognize what was happening until they saw people injured and whatnot. And then the music stopped, and chaos ensued. 20 people dead, according to Vegas police, more than 100 injured.
And two of those officers were off duty that were at the concert at the time. The one who took down the gunman. So once the shots started firing, they knew it was coming from Mandalay Bay. They went to the 32nd floor where this local resident, a 60-year-old white male, had rented the room, and the windows don't come down, so he had to cut a hole. That's what one source is saying, through the window to get the barrel of the gun out, in order to shoot the crowd. A police officer who was responding to that specific room in critical condition this morning may not make it. But here is the sheriff of Clark County, Joe Lombardo, on the number of victims.
As far as number of victims, I cannot give you an accurate number at this point. We have well in the excess of 100 plus injured and excess of 20 plus that have died at this point.
This all happened about 12:08 a.m. our time, 10:08 Vegas time. And then the other piece of this, at least right now in the fog of it all,
they're the little Asian woman.
They're looking for a 4'11" Asian woman whose name they gave out.
Yeah, Mary Lou Danley, and she apparently lives with the gunman in Las Vegas. She weighs 110 pounds. I've seen her pictures plastered all over TV this morning. And but the thing is, I don't know if you saw this. There was a local news reporter that interviewed people leaving the area, and she said that they were in the front row. It was her 21st birthday, and this lady ran down, but she didn't say whether or not she was Asian. She said a lady ran down in mass hysteria saying, "You guys are all going to die in 45 minutes." And police allegedly escorted her out. But I don't know if they questioned her further, because if they had that information, don't you think they would have canceled the concert right away? Or maybe they saw her as a crazy or
right. Yeah, you have no idea.
Jason Aldean, when he was on the stage and the shots were fired, he dropped his guitar and ran. And here's an eyewitness, Brian Claypool. He's an attorney from Bakersfield who was at the concert.
But thankfully, there was a guy, a very heroic guy, that was near this little small room, and he funneled about 20 of us into this little production, like a little room under the bleachers. And I got to tell you how horrifying that was, because I saw about 6 younger gals on their knees crying, and I'm trying to calm them, and I'm thinking, this is Orlando. I'm thinking we're all going to die like in this little room.
It's just
and so
horrific.
You had people fleeing. They shut down or diverted flights, at least from McCarran Airport. You had people fleeing the concert area because Mandalay Bay is not far from the airport, and there were reports of people actually running on one of the runways at McCarran Airport, so thus the diversion of flights coming into Vegas as well.
But the sheriff really wanted to squash right away all these rumors on social media that there's other gunmen at other hotels and other, the only bangs that went off were the SWAT team members getting into that hotel room.
There's been multiple phone calls and accusations or conjecture coming through social media that there's multiple shooters at other resorts. That has been proven to be false. Additionally, there's been accusations or beliefs there's some explosives going off. That is also false. The only explosive contained in this event was from our SWAT team breaching the room. So please, we are pretty confident that there is no longer a threat, other than we are attempting to locate the person of interest.
Right, and that was...
No, not at this point. We believe it's a local individual.
They kept saying, is it a terrorist? Are they affiliated with ISIS? Right. Is it a white supremacist? And he kept saying, no, I'm not going to say it again. We don't know. Well, and all I know is he's a white male in his 60s.
And in terms of those other spots, I mean, the police initially, of course, didn't know exactly the extent of it. If there was other gunmen, they cleared a local restaurant. They cleared the New York. They had to check that.
They locked down the Strip.
Yeah, well, sure. They locked down part of Las Vegas Boulevard. They obviously locked down Mandalay Bay, and then they had to check out to make sure, and that was why what the sheriff had to say was important, because he's reporting what they then knew to be true after doing their jobs, frankly. The other thing just about this, I mean, the context of this, so this happens over the weekend, a weekend that featured a terrorist attack in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Well, a U-Haul truck driven into a police officer, who then stabs the assailant stabs the police officer, injures 5 others. a stabbing attack, 2 killed at a train station in southern France by a man shouting Allahu Akbar. So I'm not saying that there's any connection to those, but I mean, again, the incidents of terrorist attacks in Canada and southern France over the weekend, and now this, which of course bears eerie similarity to the Ariana Grande shooting
Right.
in London.
Mm-hmm. And Jason Aldean, he wrote it, on his Instagram. He's heartbroken this morning. He let everybody know he and his band members are fine because the shots were coming right to the stage, and they were ricocheting off the rigging around the stage. But the video, I don't know if you saw, one person had on their Instagram of him dropping his guitar and just running, because that's what they do. They say to run, protect yourself, and then fight. And that's what a lot of people did. But a lot of people just hunkered down and laid on the ground, and people laid on top of each other to protect one another.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello?
Hey, Ed, you're on.
Okay. You know what? I wish you guys would stress even more. It's absolutely a disaster what happened. But just the thought, especially with all this NFL protest, and I don't want to bring politics in this, but the police charged into that room to stop this madman who was hell-bent on killing as many people as possible. I think you guys should stress that more than what you have, and I think you will. But it's just, this is what the police do. So why hate them? They do their jobs. They put their life on the line. And I guess one of those guys isn't even going to be able to make it, probably.
Yeah, he might not. He's in extreme critical condition.
Have a nice day.
Two injured, yeah. Thanks for the call, Ed. And
But-
yes, well said.
And also, too, I mean, in that video, the video goes on for a minute, but he fires off a number of rounds. Then there's 40 seconds, and then he fires off another. And so their terrorism experts say he had a barrel magazine, probably, and was just shooting. But again, the motive is what I'm,
Well,
why?
of course, everybody wants that.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Breezy, very warm today. Another hot day in fall, a high of 81 degrees. And tonight, a moonlit sky, a low of 65. And for Tuesday, breezy and very warm, a high in the mid-80s. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Morning, Amy. Morning, Dan. Things are off to a quiet start for the most part when it comes to the commute. No major overnight incidents. We see now mild delays on inbound I-57, Bishop Ford, and the Ryan. About a 1 or 2 minute delay either way approaching the merge, and then the Ryan about a 2 minute delay from 18th into downtown Chicago. Tollways are all fine. Eastbound I-80 on the ramp to northbound 294, there's some work narrowing that ramp, but not seeing any delays at all there. Rail lines are looking good. We see almost no delays at Chicago's airport, so things are off to a pretty good start as far as the commute goes on this Monday morning, October 2nd. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Mike Scott just updating us. 2 off-duty police officers with respect to that Las Vegas shooting now confirmed dead by the Clark County Sheriff. So, as Ed from Oak Brook said, reminding us what the dangerous job that police do. Oh, boy. Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series this week featuring Jason Hill, philosophy professor at DePaul University. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries this week on Bruce Rauner and the profile of the outsider businessman as a candidate for high office. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state politics and policy, as well as our new series, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the salient issues of the day. Our Follow the Logic, Man on the Street segments, and Pat Hughes' 2-minute warnings from Illinois Opportunity Project. You can find it all at upstream-ideas.com.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. but I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. We have the pleasure of protecting over 25,000 of your homes with our innovative and proven line of protection solutions. Our customers enjoy peace of mind knowing their homes are safe regardless of weather conditions. They enjoy peace of mind knowing our solutions provide the early warning mechanisms required to fend off problems in advance. And they enjoy peace of mind knowing when called upon, our solutions will come to the forefront and operate as expected. Have you ever received an email or phone call from your sump pump warning you of an error or potential problem? Our customers have. Like us, our customers believe technology does not have to end at the top of the basement stairs, and they rely on our technology to protect their personal belongings that they care so deeply about. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
AM 560, The Answer.
We didn't mention either that Jason Aldean, he was on his last song of his set, so it was like the last song of the concert when the shooting happened.
Okay.
Well, it just makes me keep thinking about that woman who ran through the crowd saying, "You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. Get out of here. You're gonna die." And we'll have that audio for you later from this concert goer who was in the first row, who said that they then watched the police take her away. But we don't know if she was an Asian woman or not. We don't know if they questioned her further, if they just passed her off as a crazy.
Yes, I mean, this is the whole thing. We've unfortunately had to cover enough of these incidents that restraint in the immediate moments, and we're talking about something that happened in the early morning hours, Chicago time. Restraint is the better part of judgment in these cases because the police are sorting and investigators are sorting through an unbelievable amount of evidence, eyewitness testimony, trying to get a handle on who's been injured, where they are, so they can inform next of kin and so forth. So these are, you're talking, I mean, you heard more than 20 injured, more than 20 dead, more than 100 injured. This is 5 hours ago. This is still a chaotic scene. So, and making any predeterminations about who this might have been and why he might have done it and the companion they're looking for, what her role may or may not have been, is dangerous business.
Well, he is a white male in his 60s, so I can't wait to see how long it takes for someone to say, "Oh, I'm sure he was a Trump supporter," because that's coming around the corner. Because he was a white
Maybe
male.
from David Axelrod, but that's why it's important to exercise restraint in these matters.
Well, here's the sheriff when asked about, was this a terrorist attack? Is this a member of ISIS?
We believe it's a local individual. He resides here locally. I'm not at liberty to give you his place of residence yet because it's an ongoing investigation. We don't know what his belief system was at this time.
And reporters kept asking him, like, I don't know. I don't know, but they know who he is because he rented the room under his name. Why aren't they releasing his name? I know you're not in the. Well,
you were a reporter for 18 years.
I know. That's
you don't know
why I'm
they're
surprised.
You don't know why they're not releasing his name.
They're releasing his possible accomplice's
because
name.
they're looking for somebody that they don't want to flee. That's a little bit. So they plaster her name everywhere. That's a little bit different than informing people before they have gathered the evidence and understanding of this individual they want to gather. This isn't that complicated. I mean, what their job is very complicated. Why they're not releasing his name is not complicated, and there's nothing nefarious about it.
Well, I wonder if he did it because all the reporters were in town that weekend because O.J. Simpson got out on Saturday from prison. Well, they want the maximum coverage possible, these crazy people, these crazy shooters.
Yeah. Again, restraint in the wake of these things, the better part of valor.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt from the Salem Radio Network and MSNBC, inviting you to a free reception in the Chicago area. Hosted by Hillsdale College, the event features an important lecture on education and American greatness by my friend and Hillsdale president, Dr. Larry Arnn. Register now at hillsdale4chicago.com. Perhaps you receive Imprimis or have taken a free Hillsdale online Constitution course. Now you can hear Dr. Arnn share how the Constitution still holds the key to American greatness and the necessity of a properly educated citizenry. The reception with great food is complimentary. It's being held at the Westin O'Hare Hotel on October 17. Register now. The event will fill up quickly and registration will close. Reserve your spot today at hillsdale4chicago.com. Hillsdale is providing this free event as part of their mission to pursue truth and defend liberty. Seating is limited, so secure your spot right now at hillsdale4chicago.com. That's hillsdale4chicago.com, hillsdale4chicago.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The weekend that was in the NFL, we'll have the protester count at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good Monday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Las Vegas police say the suspect who rained gunfire on a country music venue along the Las Vegas Strip is dead.
But we are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat.
That is Sheriff Joe Lombardo. More than 20 were killed, 100 others injured after a man fired from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. Witness Paul Velasquez.
By the time I started to cross, I was maybe midway through the crosswalk when I heard gunfire and screaming, but at first I wasn't sure if it was gunfire.
Sheriff Lombardo says they believe this was a lone wolf attack, but they are looking for a roommate of the dead suspect as a person of interest. Lombardo says one on-duty officer this morning is in critical condition. Another was wounded in the Las Vegas concert shooting, and 2 other off-duty officers have died.
One in critical condition, the other one minor injuries, but there are other police officers that were off duty attending the concert that have expired. We don't have those individuals identified at this point.
Many of those officers were from California. They were attending the concert. One from Bakersfield PD in California. That agency has confirmed his serious injuries this morning. Flights at Las Vegas's McCarran International Airport have resumed after being temporarily halted following the mass shooting. There were no journalists waiting outside the Lovelock Correction Center in northern Nevada when O.J. Simpson was released early Sunday morning. Prison officials had arranged the former football star's release in the middle of the night to avoid any public scrutiny. One man is dead here in Chicago, a woman wounded following a shooting. It happened on Chicago's South Side yesterday in the 2600 block of East 75th. An Elgin school board member who compared the American flag to toilet paper says she's now receiving death threats online. Reds over the Cubs 3-1 in the season finale at Wrigley. White Sox fell to the Indians in the season finale for both squads. 3-1 regular season finale. The Indians move on to the playoffs. The news service of Audible.com. Audible turns traffic into an escape with mysteries, sci-fi, bestsellers, and motivation. Ride with Audible and transform your commute with an unbeatable selection of audiobooks. Start a 30-day trial and your first one is free. Go to Audible.com. Our time is 5:32. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants people to get real.
I want to thank Trump for making black people #1 on the most oppressed list.
Can someone just quickly give me an answer? What has Donald Trump ever done to make you think that blacks are the most oppressed people on earth? I'm a little bit lost on that.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Depression. You need to make it go away. Cure or remission is here. The revolutionary treatment of TMS.
800-604-0208.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive. Here's how it works. There are areas of the brain that control mood. If you suffer from depression, research has found these areas to be underactive. TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate these mood centers, causing long-term, medication-free relief. HBR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin offer TMS. End the frustration with life and relationships.
It's FDA cleared and it is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare.
Dangerous drugs and other treatments just mask the depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation.
800-604-0208.
HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
534. Let's get an update on the roads. We do that this Monday morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And the latest on your morning commute, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Stevenson, we're now seeing some delays. It is heavy in the area first around Cicero Avenue, and then from Ashland to the Rhine, and from State Street to Lakeshore Drive. Looking at a travel time, about 38 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, traffic is heavy 31st to the Burn Circle, travel time of 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Inbound I-57, delays start around 103rd Street. From I-80 to the merge, it's a 19-minute trip. Bishopport at 25 minutes, though 111th to Ryan. The other expressways and tollways are looking good at this hour. No delays, Street 4 to Rails. Traffic service of Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at low prices, like paper, ink, and toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, buy 2 reams of Staples brand paper. Get 1 free. Select SKUs in-store only, plus tax where applicable. It's 10-7 Staples. It's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A breezy and warm day ahead. We'll have sunshine. 81 for a high temp and a beautiful moonlit sky overnight. 65 overnight. 83 tomorrow with partial sunshine. Hopefully, if the forecast is correct, some rain will begin on Wednesday with a high of 75. 62 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Continuous news coverage, as always, of the breaking situation in Las Vegas at 560, theanswer.com, and on the air right now with Dan and Amy with Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show. Tune in on Saturday mornings at 8 to learn how you might fight foreclosure and keep your home.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Just a clarification on the Vegas shooting. Those 2 police officers reportedly who were killed, looks like they're from California.
They were
Maybe
off
confirm
duty.
that.
Yeah.
Off duty. And want to be clear, they weren't necessarily responding to the scene. They were just there
Enjoying the
as
concert,
guests at the concert. So we don't know. We don't know what they did or didn't do. I'm just
But how frustrating
providing
for
that
them,
context.
knowing that fire was going off and they were struck. But yeah, and we don't even, the death total, now it's been jumped 50 dead. 50 dead and 100 injured in the concert shooting. The Las Vegas Clark County Sheriff is up speaking right now to reporters, and that's just an astronomical jump in numbers from 20 plus to 50 dead right now this morning.
Well,
Wow.
we're going to continue to update this information and everything related to the shooting as details are made available as we get updates from law enforcement and local reporters and others that are charged with trying to figure out why what happened.
And CNN reporting, besides 50 dead, 200 plus injured at the Las Vegas concert.
Right. Yeah, so but both numbers have more than doubled from the early numbers we had overnight with the reporting as sort of what was predicted or intimated by the Vegas sheriff. They're trying to make, Clark County Sheriff, they're trying to make sense of it all and get a handle on it themselves. And so with what you heard happen with respect to concert goers being targeted from a 32nd floor window during a concert, the spray of bullets, you're not surprised that this is going to be a dreary morning.
And the SWAT team member who did a flashbang to get into his 32nd floor room on Mandalay Bay, he's in critical condition. He exchanged fire with the gunman, ultimately killing the gunman. So that's good, but they don't know if they say, the threat is gone, but they're looking for his Asian roommate, Mary Lou Danley, who's described as 4'11", 110 pounds, and they're looking for her to see if she knew anything, to see if she was a possible accomplice.
We'll have, again, more details as they become available. We'll get the download from what the Clark County Sheriff has to say as he's holding a presser as we speak. But moving on for the moment, over the weekend, what happened at forget the NFL for a second, what happened at your local high school football game or even grade school football game on Friday night or Saturday morning this weekend? Kneel or stand? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Kneel or stand? I ask because, at the NFL level, the number of kneelers declined precipitously from a week prior. They don't have the staying power. They're responding to the market feedback they're getting, and it ain't positive. So the number was 180 this weekend before this past. It was 52 over this weekend. Darren Ravel, who's a business reporter for ESPN, had the count by team with, of course, the San Francisco 49ers honoring their late teammate, Colin Kaepernick, leading the way with half the team, 30 players, kneeling during the anthem. In Oakland, the one player who knelt, Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Surrounded by assistant coaches. The only way you could see that he was sitting down during the anthem is they got an aerial shot of him, because otherwise he was blockaded by Raiders assistant coaches that were standing and observing the flag during the anthem.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that tells you about how the NFL is, the message the NFL is receiving from its fan base.
And then you have Fox News has decided, they declared that they are not going to be showing the singing of the national anthem anymore. And yesterday when they covered the Miami Dolphins game, they didn't show, there was three dudes on the end who were kneeling, and they just zoomed in right away and kept it to the flag, kept it to the man singing the national anthem, kept it to what's his name, from the Saints quarterback, New Orleans Saints quarterback, Drew Brees, with his hand on his heart, and they left those three players out of it.
Yeah, right, because what are they doing? The same thing the NFL is doing, trying to protect their business. Mm-hmm. The more the networks show that, the less viewers are turning in to watch football. And there's a bunch of surveys out this morning, including one that finds 62% of sports fans plan to watch less NFL. That's a problem for the NFL and the network, so they're responding and they're trying to do damage control. It's not working, but I'll tell you what, here's the positive aspect of this story. That's why I asked about at the amateur level, the high school level specifically. So you had an action and you have a reaction, and the reactions differ. We mentioned at the end of the show on Friday the Evanston Township High School varsity girls volleyball team kneeling on the court before the anthem. How about the positive? Members of the Mascoutah High football team down in St. Clair County near St. Louis, Mascoutah, Illinois, they took the field Friday night for the homecoming game with members of law enforcement, firefighters, and veterans, because they had decided well before all this controversy their homecoming theme would be solidarity with first responders, thanking first responders.
Awesome.
And you see pictures that Belleville News Democrat has it, Fox News National picked it up, of all the players standing interspersed with first responders, cops and firefighters, paramedics, with observing the anthem before the start of their homecoming football game. By the way, Mascoutah High School nickname?
What?
Indians.
Shh.
Uh-oh.
No, you didn't. Don't go there.
So they'll be targeted by the left, both for standing for the anthem and for the nickname honoring Native Americans. So that's a positive. Here's another one. There was one in Texas.
No, a football game in Texas where the kid took a knee and the coach was like, you're standing up. And when he grabbed him by the shoulder and told him to stand up.
Oh, that was another one. Oh, good.
There's more?
Well, this is the action-reaction, and this is the exciting part. They
love their football in Texas. You don't mess with Texas, the American flag or football. You stand, son. Or else you're not going to play, and he stood up so he could play.
Good. Yeah, but I mean, here, the encouraging thing is it's something to remember, because of course the big government sentimental media wants to focus on the protesters and the adult children as well as the actual children, and the babies of the red diaper babies, like at Evanston Township High School, or Oak Park River Forest, where they knelt. Oh yeah,
Oak Park Huskies River Forest took a knee.
Oak Park River Forest. This is reported in the Tribune, of course, breathlessly. We're joined by more than 40 band members kneeling during the national anthem. Dozen Oak Park River Forest High School football players plus 40 band members knelt during the national anthem Friday night's varsity game in Oak Park. I understand from a friend over there that the principal asked the head coach if it was okay, because a couple players had gone to the principal and said, we want to kneel. And the head coach took a Pontius Pilate. It lets the kids do whatever they want to do. Because you have adults.
Keep your job.
You have adults that are afraid of kids, just like NFL owners are afraid of kids. Just like NFL head coaches are afraid of kids.
And speaking of the NFL, Marshawn Lynch arrived at the game. I don't know if you saw this, wearing an Everybody versus Trump T-shirt. And then somebody tweeted out, you can buy it here for $45. Yeah, that's what he wore on his way into the game.
It's fine. They think they're making it about Trump, and the people watching this think they're making it about America. Dead bang loser. Dead bang loser. America's a brand that will endure, and especially when you get the reaction from children, young men and women who are being raised right, who are respectful, who are going to be tomorrow's leaders, the kids like the football team at Muscuda High, or this group, the national football team, Fox News reporting, could learn a lesson of patriotism from Fannin County High School in Georgia. At the start of Friday night's football game, the entire team ran on the field waving American flags.
Awesome.
And, of course, the photos of that went viral. So there is a differing response to the example being set by a smattering of football players in the NFL. By the way, trying to get out ahead of this because you got another professional season about to start in a month.
NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had their preseason game, a few preseason games.
Notice
but nobody knelt. They just locked arms, and some looked down, some had their hands on their heart, even though they had locked arms.
The NBA recommending teams address fans or show videos expressing themes of unity before their first home games, while reminding them of the rule that players must stand for the national anthem. A memo sent Friday after NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said he expected players would stand for the anthem. Trying to protect the shield there.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting, no controversy or concern about hockey.
No, because
why aren't we worried about what the Blackhawks?
Because that's part of the game. I'm not kidding you. What's his name? Corneliuson? I always bang it up.
Jim Cornelius.
Jim Cornelius. Yeah, Jim. Whenever he sings the national anthem, that's one of the best parts of going to a Blackhawks game.
No question.
No, I mean, that's when everything's off the charts and everyone's screaming and we're so proud and it gets everyone riled up. So they're never taking the national anthem away from hockey. Yeah. And then they play the Canadian one when they have to. And everybody stands and screams too and cheers.
I still want to hear, I mean, I know there are parents of high school kids out there and they go to football games on Friday and Saturday night. What happened at your local high school? Here's what happened at Victory and Praise Academy in Texas. A coach kicked 2 Texan high school foot players off the team after the players protested during the national anthem on their game Friday. Senior Larry McCullough, sophomore Cedric Ingram Lewis put his fist up in the air during the national anthem. And Ronnie Mitchum, the team's coach and pastor, hand of God, kicked them off the team straight away. I don't have any problem with these young men. We've had a good relationship. They chose to do that, and they have to pay the consequences. Mitchum, the coach and pastor, also a Marine. He told the players he didn't want them to kneel during the anthem believing the action offends veterans and distracts rather than calls attention to issues. Yeah. He told us that disrespect will not be tolerated, said one of the players who got kicked off the team. He told us to take off our uniform and leave it there. Now, of course, the mother of one of the kids kicked off was angry, that was unfair and so on and so forth. Well, he warned them. They challenged him. They found out that he wasn't kidding. That's what you're supposed to do as an adult, leading and helping to mold young men and women as a coach at the grade school and high school and collegiate and even professional level. So, well done, Ronnie Mitchum, Marine coach, pastor. Need more Ronnie Mitchums in this country. Gunner in Winthrop Harbor.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thomas Page wrote the American Creed, which was adopted by an act of Congress in April 6, 1918. I don't know if you've ever read that, but pick that up and what it says about our allegiance to.
Okay.
Hello?
Thanks for the call, Gunner. Tom in Schaumburg.
Thanks for taking the call. $154,000 a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. Who gets paid $40 million? Oh, wait, it's Roger Goodell, chief disciplinarian of the NFL. He's the guy that suspended Tom Brady for 4 games for what? For allegedly having something to do with deflating the balls that were used in a football game. And on this issue, he's clueless. He doesn't know what to do. Unbelievable. He should have suspended or fired people when it started a year ago. You know, it just shows you where the priorities are. Disrespecting the flag, not a problem. But not long ago, everybody wanted this guy fired. They wanted him thrown out of the NFL because he did discipline enough a man who had committed an act of domestic violence.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. They wanted this guy fired. He was on the ropes for quite a while. He had to revisit the issue and repunish the guy who committed this act of domestic violence. But disrespecting the flag, that's not a problem. I just don't believe it.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Yeah, Goodell, you're right. I mean, Goodell was on the ropes not so long ago. Maybe he'll be on the ropes again in the not-too-distant future. The owners want to protect the shield, yes, but protect their part of it through their team. And there's a lot of semi-full stadiums, a lot of almost empty stadiums, particularly out west, the Chargers and the Rams. And also, boy, oh boy, even to the extent that this is a close call between people siding with the players and siding with the country and respect for the flag, what the NFL is finding out is that the people who are on the side of respecting the flag and respecting the country and finding the appropriate time and place to protest, and owners in the NFL not tolerating this kind of open hostility and disrespect. You know where you find the majority of football fans? In that cohort. And so you can have all of the lobotomized leftist supporters for of Che Guevara and Colin Kaepernick lovers, Che Guevara lovers like him. But it turns out they're not football fans. So they're not going to salvage you. Mark on the South Side.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Why would the owners allow this stuff to be going on when all of them knew when Kaepernick was not re-signed by the 49ers that if anybody signed him, there would be backlash for it? So it's pretty contradicting of what they're doing. I'm not a Kaepernick fan, but in reality, with the 60-something quarterbacks in the NFL, he is probably one of the 60 best in the country. So it just seems to me it's so contradicting. They're sticking by their players and not reprimanding them for what they're doing, but yet not one of them had the guts to sign them because they knew the repercussion from their fan base of what would happen if they did.
Well, yeah, thanks for the call, Mark.
Is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
A little bit of breaking news. They have released the name of the shooter in Las Vegas. His name is Stephen Paddock. He is 64 years old, and they believe he was the only attacker. And, of course, they're still looking for his roommate. We'll have more on that for you at top of the hour. ChicagoRadioDeals.com has partnered with two amazing gun establishments to bring you a full curriculum of training classes. To the north in Lake Villa is Red Dot Arms. It's offering a Refuse to be a Victim seminar, which teaches basic skills for developing a strategy for your personal safety. Paired with a home and fire safety course, this non-shooting class teaches you the safe handling and storage of firearms and ammunition in the home. Continue the training with an NRA basic pistol shooting class or the personal protection course. So set your sights on all the details at the deals from Red Dot Arms and others at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
This is Dan Proth with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Elizabeth Warren was born a poor Native American child. That's the Horatio Alger story she spun when confronted by a Boston radio talk show host about her hypocrisy of railing against the 1% while being a Grey Poupon-carrying member of it. Warren refused to concede she was a 1%er, instead recounting how her daddy was a janitor and her mom worked a minimum wage job. But they provided for their Indian princess. Warren worked her way through school, became an academic while also consulting for big insurance companies and big banks, and amassed a multi-million-dollar net worth. Warren tells her story in 3 dimensions. The rest of the 1% she shamelessly demagogues as one-dimensional Mr. Potter cartoons. Warren is a 1%er who overcame her humble beginnings. Everyone else is a robber baron, except for the champagne socialist fellow travelers in the Harvard faculty lounge, of course. Warren is not a public servant. The businesses she seeks to plunder are. Warren builds stylized political narratives. The entrepreneur built this country. She can't tell the truth about herself because Warren's politics are predicated on a lie. Not one she's lived, but one she wants to impose on you. Elizabeth Warren didn't build that, and neither can you.
Need a CPAP? Then we need you. We're CPAP.com, and we carry popular brands of CPAP equipment, including ResMed, Respironics, and more. To move inventory, we're selling some of our ResMed CPAP machines at prices lower than you would think. Call now to learn more about these affordable ResMed CPAPs. We'll even provide free shipping on your ResMed machine order so you'll get it fast. Call 1-800-6-ISIS. Again, CPAP.com has a large inventory of ResMed CPAPs and is offering free shipping on these devices. Call now for these great deals and others. Call 1-800-600-7101. If lines are busy, please try again. That's 1-800-600-7101.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic's heavy around O'Hare, eastbound Adams, Tollway I-90. It's stop and go from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Those delays continue to around Canfield Road. It's 22 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 27, still Montrose to Sayre. There are delays now on westbound 190 from the Kennedy to the Tri-State. Edens is clear. Eisenhower inbound, it's slow. Manheim to Harlem, that's about a 5-minute delay. Outbound, a 2-minute delay. Harlem to Des Plaines Avenue. On Stevenson, delay started Harlem, 44 minutes, 3:55 for Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 423. Aside from the Adams Tollway, the other tollways look good. Northwest Indiana's fine. And traffic this morning, on AM 560 is a service of Accountants. You need help closing your books, it's time to call Accountants. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis. Fast. Call today. Accountants of Robert Half Company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next after your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Breezy with some sun today, high 81, then a moonlit night, low 65. Breezy with partial sunshine tomorrow, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high 83. Becoming mostly cloudy at night with a late night shower or thunderstorm around, low tomorrow night, 67. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 62 at O'Hare and 61 along Chicago's lakefront. The news, a service of Audible.com. Audible turns traffic into an escape, mystery, sci-fi, bestsellers, and motivation. Ride with Audible. Transform your commute. Start a 30-day trial, and your first one is free. Go to audible.com. 5:59 in Chicago. We're following along with Fox, the latest from Las Vegas this morning. The deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. More than 50 dead. More than 200 injured. The Nevada sheriff identifies a Las Vegas resident, Stephen Paddock, as the man suspected of opening fire. Nevada sheriff also says they've located the female person of interest in that deadly shooting. Fox with the latest on this developing story in just a moment. Chicago police are looking for a man accused of trying to abduct a woman in the South Loop near 19th and Clark. An Elgin school board member who compared the American flag to toilet paper says she's now receiving death threats. Cubs winners at Wrigley, Indians over the White Sox. Bears had yesterday off following that road loss to the Packers. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Mass murder outside the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. I'm Dave Anthony.
We are looking in excess of 50 individuals dead and over 200 individuals injured at this point.
Those 50 plus killed were shot at a concert. Jason Aldean performing at a country music festival. The shots came from the 32nd floor of that hotel. He was just firing into the crowd.
It was very chaotic. We just felt like we were sitting ducks. There was nowhere to hide. We were out in the open, so we felt we were better off running.
We were all headed towards the back, and people were tearing down fences. People were hiding underneath the seating.
Amid the chaos in the crowd, people were helping injured people, taking off their shirts to help stop bleeding, and much more.
Were you carrying people?
Yeah, we both were. As long as they weren't,
right,
gone.
Understood. You were trying to help whoever you could that needed help.
Yeah, we're just trying to get people out. That's all that matters.
What are you feeling right now? I mean, it's got
Heartbroken. Because anybody I met tonight, I told them that I'm an American and that we're brothers just because we're American tonight.
That's Fox's Adam Housley on the scene, talking to two of those who were helping. Police responded to where the shooter was. He was killed.
Suspect down. No firearms.
That's scanner audio from Broadcastify confirming it was the spot from where he was firing.
I am going to provide you his identity at this point. His name is Stephen Paddock. Last name spelled Paddock.
That's Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo. He also says they were nearly sure they have a person of interest in custody, a woman who had been sought for hours after the late-night shooting. So as it stands now, with more than 50 people killed, it's the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history in Las Vegas late last night. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. Choosing the right mortgage lender involves much more than just a rate. Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards for client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage, a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online. No one else has anything like it. So choose Quicken Loans, America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around, signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 10 p.m. on AM 560. Explore the wonderful world of wine with hosts James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's not a very good morning. You've got the deadliest mass shooting in United States history that occurred in the early morning hours Chicago time in Las Vegas. More than 50 dead, more than 200 injured, as a shooter opened fire on concertgoers outside the Mandalay Bay Hotel during a country music festival. The shooting happening at the time Jason Aldean, country music star, was performing.
And people caught it, of course, on Instagram. They were recording the concert because it was the first song in his set, not the last one, but the first one. And this is what it sounded like.
So that hail of bullets coming from the shooter, now identified as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock. This is from a 32nd floor window at the Mandalay Bay, down, spraying bullets, as you heard, into the crowd.
Into this open air venue. And, the windows at Mandalay Bay, they don't open. So police said that he had to cut a hole through the window to get the barrel of the gun out. They believe that he had a barrel magazine that would allow him to have rapid fire. He shot that video that we just played for you, that audio. That was the second time. So in between, there was about a 40-second lapse where he reloaded and then let loose on all those concert goers that were down below. People ran for cover. Here's one eyewitness who was there.
I'm just absolutely blown away. I mean, I'm sitting here inside a bus 100 feet from the stage that I was standing on when this started happening. I'm watching the news now saying that there's more than 50 people deceased and 200 injured, and I ran out. We were in the middle of it. I mean, when the shots started being fired and you could hear it ricocheting off the top of the roof of the stage, we started just running in any direction we could because you didn't know where it was coming from. You know, if someone was on the ground, you didn't know where it was coming from, and at one point, I was kind of sitting on the ground behind a car with about 20 other people crouched down behind the car, and just the fear in everyone's eyes, but yet the feeling of everyone looking for someone to make sure they were okay was, I've just never experienced anything like this before. And obviously, like they just said, it's the largest mass shooting in our country's history. I never thought it'd be something that would be at a country music concert, something that we do day in, day out, every weekend. And there's families out there, there's kids on their parents' shoulders, and that's not what America's supposed to be like.
That's actually was Jake Owen who performed at the concert.
It's reminiscent, of course, of the Ariana Grande concert shooting, but police reporting that he has no known connection to terrorism. Stephen Paddock, by the way, was killed by police, taken out by a SWAT team. No known connection to terrorism. Police not calling the shooting a terrorist attack, but this was interesting, but was known to local law enforcement, according to NBC News.
Really? Because CBS News was saying that he had no priors. That doesn't mean that he wasn't known to local.
Correct.
But he had no priors.
We'll see, because the reporting on this stuff and the immediacy of it can often be inaccurate. So this is what we know to be true, citing the agencies that are reporting it. Things change. News agencies, through no fault of their own, usually, except the rush to get it first rather than get it right, usually, through no fault of their own, sometimes get the details wrong. And so we're just reporting what we know, and we'll correct anything that needs correcting. But in addition to that, and Clark County Sheriff just had a press conference a few minutes ago, there was a individual that Mr. Paddock apparently lived with named Mary Lou Danley, an Asian American female who was identified by police in the early morning, and her name and
plate number,
visual, photo was plastered everywhere. They've now identified her location. The statement doesn't say she's in custody, but they've identified where she is.
Okay.
So we'll update that.
Just to see if she was a possible accomplice or what she knew about it.
Well, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Sheriff Joseph Lombardo said that a person was seen sitting with the suspected shooter in the car before the incident, and that person of interest is that Mary Lou Danley, the person that they now have identified, whose location they've now identified. So apparently, according to Las Vegas police, she was in the car with Paddock before the incident occurred.
Well, and some people that were sitting in the first two rows of the concert yesterday or late last night, around the shooting happened at 12:08 our time, said that there was a Hispanic woman in the crowd with a Hispanic man telling people that they are going to die. Listen to this.
Obviously, she was telling us that either to tell us to warn us or to tell us that we were all going to die, and she was part of it. So
okay, so they want the description of this woman. Describe to me what this woman looked like.
Her and her boyfriend were both Hispanic. They were probably about shorter 5-footers, probably about 5'5", 5'6". They just look like everyday people.
Can you tell us anything more about them, what they look like? Why were they escorted out? Were they escorted out because you were feeling uncomfortable about what they said?
Yes, because she had been messing with the lady in front of her and telling her that she was going to die, that we were all going to die. So they escorted her out to make her stop messing around with all the other people in front of them, but none of us knew that it was going to be serious.
I mean,
that's eerie. Yeah.
That is eerie. I mean,
well, and there's the possibility. I mean, again, possibility that there are multiple accomplices.
Right. That's true. And maybe, since they were Hispanic, maybe they knew this woman, Mary Lou Danley. Maybe they knew something that was going to happen, or it's just a very strange coincidence that they would say, you guys are all going to die soon.
You could also have the eyewitness. Eyewitness' testimony is notoriously unreliable. You could have had them.
Cops came and moved them out because it wasn't just her, it was other people too that said they need to leave.
That's not my point. My point is they could have misidentified them as Hispanic.
Oh. Well,
so
it's eerie. It's an eerie coincidence no matter what. That's just a chilling statement.
Well, another eerie coincidence is that this occurs on the same weekend of two other terrorist attacks. These have been identified as likely Islamic terrorist attacks, one in southern France, where two people were killed by a man shouting Allahu Akbar, murdered, at a French train station. And then another was one of these, ram into a crowd with a big truck attacks in Edmonton, where the terrorist drove a U-Haul into a crowd, jumps out, stabs a cop. Fortunately, only 5 people injured and nobody murdered in Edmonton. But, we have no idea if there's any connection. We have no idea if this is a terrorist attack on that order. But it's obviously a domestic terror attack at minimum. So just the context of other terrorist attacks that occurred this weekend. I mean, I understand this is a semi-regular occurrence, so again, it could all be coincidental, but I'm just raising those issues, and we should be aware of these Islamist-related terrorist attacks in southern France and Canada again anyway.
And the guy in Edmonton, he had a ISIS flag in his car, or in the U-Haul, too. So
Pretty good
we
tip-off.
clearly know, that's a good,
Greg in Schaumburg.
evidence.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Last week, Dan, at the tail end of the week, you started talking about evil, immorality, etc. And you can just predict that this is going to go the course it always does. It's the guns' fault. We have to restrict guns, and then it'll morph into Trump. And I just really want to put on the plate that, if there are leaders out there that would stand up and say, no, people can be evil. Prager has really been stressing that on his show, and we are under assault by Satan to tear the society apart. It's a conflict between Christianity and everything else.
Thanks for the call, Greg. I mean, certainly evil exists, and I made this point previously in the wake of horrific attacks like this, that it can be a barrel of fertilizer, it can be a knife, it can be a gun, it can be a truck,
pressure cooker.
it could be a pressure cooker. There's a difference between evil and the instrumentality of evil. And, of course, the big government, secular media, really anti-religious media, let's be honest. And most of the Pauls want to focus on the instrumentality of evil because they can't confront evil. I mean, some don't believe it exists. People are inherently good. Terrorist jobs for terrorist programs, pronouncements from former President Obama, and that sort of thing.
That'll keep them off the streets.
Yeah. A terrorist is just a friend you haven't made yet.
We just need to offer them more jobs. Speaking of people,
so what Greg's talking about is, prepare for the media is a one-trick pony. Prepare for gun control, and depending on the motive, if it's identified of the shooter, it will either be a way to advance the issue of gun control, attack conservatives or Republican Party, attack Trump, as Greg said, or will be minimized if it's in any way related to Islamist terrorism. And just because he was apparently a white guy doesn't mean that it can't be Islamist terrorism related. No idea.
Yeah, but
just saying.
Older white male from Vegas, that they're going to say he's a Trump supporter. They'll find out what his voting record was. I'm sure they'll dig into that and see what motivated him, because it was a country music. There's nothing more American to me than country music. And there's nothing more.
Well, that he was shooting country music.
I know.
Concert goers.
I know. That's why I'm just trying to see what in the world his motive would be, unless he's just obviously a deranged person. Should mention that of the 50, 2 off-duty Las Vegas police officers were killed in the shooting. An off-duty police officer from Bakersfield, California, and the hero in all of this, a SWAT team member who actually exchanged gunfire with the gunman on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. He's in extremely critical condition this morning. And there was also another Vegas police officer who has minor injuries that was there last night responding. So we have to keep all these, and these pictures, oh my God, of all these. So if they were dead and they're confirmed dead, the police moved on because they had to help people that were still alive. And that's what you have to do. And God bless them, because these pictures are just horrific. Right. Young girls, blood all over, covered in blood with their cowboy boots on. People huddled together. There's 3 girls here in this one picture I'm looking at that are huddled together, all dead. It's just sickening.
Well, and so this is another reminder. Our friend Ed in Oak Brook called in earlier in the show to make to remind people, right? Police acting heroically, running to the shooter while people are running away, trying to protect themselves. Police trying to protect those trying to protect themselves, putting themselves in harm's way. Those off-duty police officers that were just attending the concert, we don't know what, if anything, they did to respond to. I'm sure those details will come out as this the blanks in this story are filled in. But boy, in a climate that's so hostile to police right now, at least in certain quarters, not the country, because the country majority is with police. The country majority is with law enforcement. They're with first responders. It's a small group of anti-American purveyors of agitprop and adult children and spoiled brats and ignorant individuals. But it's a reminder nonetheless. Let's see what the reaction
Well,
is.
and
This is what police do as a
Right.
general matter of course.
But you and I have both recently been, I was recently in Las Vegas, and I have never seen such an armed presence of police officer, whether they're hired security guards from the hotel, but they are armed to the teeth in Vegas on the Strip and nearby
yeah.
hotels. So that's why, what a quick response to get this gunman. It took a matter of minutes. They knew where the shots were coming from. They jumped into action right away. It was with a matter of minutes that they took this gunman down.
And they also cleared out because there was confusion, obviously, the
Oh.
fog of war type of confusion about where the shots were coming from, if there were other shooters. They swept and cleared the New York hotel.
Yeah, there
where
was reports of a shooting.
Yeah, thought that there was a shooter there. A local, I think it was a local
Yeah,
Indian restaurant.
An Indian restaurant they cleared.
Just the chaos of this, to give you a sense of the chaos. You had people, because Mandalay Bay is right next to McCarran Airport, you had people running on the runway, one of the runways at McCarran Airport, just getting away from the scene of the shooting, and so they had to divert flights that were incoming to McCarran.
Yeah, there were 30,000 people at that concert.
It's a huge concert venue.
30,000. And so
Right.
some of the people that were injured were trampled too. So it's, you're told to run, hide, and fight.
Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, I think from the sound of it, it's pretty likely that the guy is not an Islamic terrorist, but I'm very curious to see what his political affiliations are, to see if he's, of a like mind with that guy who shot up the congressman in Washington, D.C. Because Amy's right. The fact that he shot up a country music concert, assuming it wasn't just coincidental and it was an opportunity to get a bunch of people in one place, if he picked a country music concert, it sounds like he might be of the left-leaning political persuasion.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Bruno. So here's the thing. Not going, his voting record doesn't tell the story. His religious persuasion doesn't necessarily tell the story either, and we don't know what the story is. So I like to not speculate about motive until we get the motive, because it could be anything under the sun, including what you mentioned before, somebody who is mentally deranged.
Yeah.
Could be anything under the sun. So I get people want to take bits and pieces of what we know at this point and turn them into a theory. I prefer, just in the interest of not smearing people or playing the game the big government press wants us to play, about kind of advancing these notions that make everything political. I just want to get facts and the law enforcement and investigators' understanding of what happened before we start, kind of cobbling together our own pet theories, sans facts.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The warm weather continues. It's back. Breezy. Some sun, a high of 81 degrees tonight. A moonlit sky, a low of 65. And for Tuesday, even warmer. We're going to have highs in the mid-80s with mostly sunny skies. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dan, Edensburg eastbound traffic is slow from Waukegan Road to the Edens, and on the inbound Edens at Willow, crash reported. It's about 20 minutes either way right now between Lake Cook and Montrose. Inbound Kennedy, got a jam, actually starting on the eastbound Adams Tollway at the Tri-State Jam, from there to Nagel, where a multi-vehicle collision has traffic at a standstill. But to get to O'Hare, looking at 43 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, got another crash as well at Lawrence, the two right lanes. Outbound, it's 38 minutes downtown to the airport. Westbound 190 is heavy as well from the Kennedy to the Tri-State. Mount Eisenhower, 37 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 31. Mount Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound still okay. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes. I-80 to the Murray Division 423. Northbound Tri-State slow. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Northwest Indiana's fine. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
As flu season approaches, you know how to protect yourself against colds and viruses, but you do not know how to protect your computer network. Ransomware, viruses, hacks, intrusions can cripple your company's computer network, stopping business in an instant. Is your network safe and protected? Can your data be restored easily? If not, you need to make an appointment with Turnkey IT today. Turnkey IT provides frontline security for your network and its data. So if there's something wrong, click an email attached open in an error or network intruder. Turnkey IT immediately knows and remedies the situation. They'll arm your network with cutting-edge antivirus, disaster recovery, and proactive monitoring software systems to stop virus outbreaks before they have a chance to spread. Over the phone or in person, Turnkey IT is your network safeguard against this season's worst bugs. See what a dose of Turnkey's proactive support can do for you and your company. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I sing your praises all the time because I was very run down. I was getting bronchitis all the time. And ever since I started taking this, at the first sign of a sniffle, by the next day, it's gone.
Love it. Great product. Yeah, I should have taken it years ago. It works. You know, your skin is better, your blood pressure is down, and stuff like that.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's promo code Chicago.
This is an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. First-year property tax savings, $26,265. Total 4-year property tax savings of $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help at 833-FAIR-TAX. That's 833-FAIR-TAX. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or by visiting am560theanswer.com and looking for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner, or type in Fair Tax in the search area.
As the sounds of summer from your pool and spa wind down, All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living has some end-of-season specials they'd like to remind you about. New customers get $100 off their in-ground pool closing. And if you're already a customer, refer a friend to close their pool with All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living, and both of you get $100 off. Also, get end-of-season specials on new pool equipment installs. For a limited time, save 15% on new in-ground pool filters, salt chlorine generators, pool heaters, and more. And as a special bonus to save you even more money, in-ground pool variable speed pumps are 15% off. And ComEd customers receive a $300 ComEd rebate. Remember, it's never too late to start planning your backyard paradise for next season. All Seasons Pools and Spas begin from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction and hardscaping, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, and more. For over 60 years, making a splash in your neighborhood. All Seasons Pools and Spas and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com.
The same banking team you already know and trust at the private bank has come together with one of the strongest banks in North America. And we have a new name. The private bank is now CIBC. We share the same focus on building strong client relationships, and we're now backed by a bank with over 150 years of experience in putting clients first. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to helping your business grow is now stronger than ever. Visit us at cibc.com/US. Member FDIC.
From Struck Films.
Where did you come from?
The true story of a stray dog.
Who are you? That's Pluto.
Who saves a struggling family in more ways than one.
What's wrong? This isn't working anymore.
Sometimes help comes from the most unlikely places.
I don't need you. He's trying. He really is.
Sometimes one dog can change everything.
We're awfully small, aren't we, boy?
From the director of The Other Side of Heaven, The Stray. Rated PG. For theater locations and more information, visit thestray.movie. In theaters Friday.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're continuing to update you with details of the shooting in Las Vegas that happened in the early morning hours. The worst mass shooting in U.S. history already. And, of course, police and first responders and medical professionals still getting a handle on all those who were murdered as well as injured. Right now, at least 50 dead and 200 plus injured.
And about a dozen in critical conditions, so we have to keep them in our prayers.
Robert in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Amy just said it. I think we should take a little bit of time and everyone, please put in a prayer to God and Jesus to for those that we just lost in Chicago and all over the world, and take a moment and put in a prayer for all those injured. And if we don't heal the United States, we're going to tear each other apart.
Yep.
So just take a moment and put in a prayer for all those folks that we've just lost.
All right.
That's all I have to say.
And some
very nice sentiment. Thank you,
looking
Robert.
at the kids, some are young girls, cowboy boots, just enjoying a concert. We don't know the names of all the victims. We know the name of the gunman who's dead, and it just breaks your heart. I mean, really, they think they're going to something that's so American. I mean, to me, country music is so sacred and personal because they touch your soul. Country music does in a way that no other genre of music does. And somebody attacks them because they're at an open-air concert, and there's 30,000 people there. And as you said, Dan, what you said was so telling that the airports nearby that people did flee and run onto the runway to get out of there because they didn't know if there were other gunmen on the strip. They just didn't know, and they're running for their lives.
Well, we'll continue to provide details as they become available, update the story, even the dismal details. Mike Scott will do the same.
Coming up on Chicago, and that's what we'll have coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. But also, too, I want to tell you about this movie that's coming out that's a movie about forgiveness, faith, love, and humility. I was talking to my mom over the weekend about this. She and 9 of her friends have already bought tickets to go see this movie because it's going to be shown around the country on October 3rd, 4th, and 5th only for 3 nights only. The movie is called Molly, and it's a story about a miraculous story, though, of how one man in Africa gave up all of his riches and earthly possessions to answer God's call and help those in need. He started out homeless, and now he's helping the homeless, 12,000 kids that are abused or orphaned. He's helped them through Mully Children's Family. So to buy your tickets, go to mullymovie.com. That's MULLY, mullymovie.com. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
63 degrees in Chicago. 6:30 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. We continue our watching the developments coming in this morning through the newsroom and through Dan and Amy and through Fox News this morning. 50 are dead, more than 200 hurt following a mass shooting at an outdoor concert venue, a country concert venue along the Las Vegas Strip. Police say shots were fired at concert goers from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, while country singer Jason Aldean was performing his final song last night.
Now the suspect, I am going to provide you his identity at this point. His name is Stephen Paddock.
Nevada Sheriff Joe Lombardo identifying that nearby Las Vegas resident as the dead man suspected of opening fire on that concert.
We located numerous firearms within the room that he occupied, and that's, like I stated earlier, it's going to be a long and tedious investigation.
Sheriff Lombardo also says they've located the female person of interest wanted in that deadly shooting at a Las Vegas outdoor concert, but that is all they are revealing at this time. Flights are again taking off and landing, as Dan and Amy have been telling you about at Las Vegas's McCarran International Airport. Flights were halted for about an hour during the deadly shooting. Other news we're following this morning: a man charged with masterminding the deadly attack on a U.S. consulate in Libya goes on trial today. We'll follow developments in the trial against Ahmed Katala, who's accused of organizing and directing the attack that killed Ambassador Christopher Stevens and 3 other Americans on September 11th, 2012. 3 Americans are sharing the Nobel Prize for Medicine. It goes to Jeffrey Hall of Brandeis University, Michael Rosbash of Rockefeller University, and Michael Young of the University of Maine for their work on the circadian rhythms of adults. 1 man is dead and 1 woman wounded following a shooting on Chicago's south side, and Chicago police tell us they're also looking for a man accused of trying to abduct a woman in the South Loop overnight near 19th and Clark. Reds clipped the Cubs in the final regular season contest at Wrigley Field. They'll face the Nationals beginning on Friday in the NL Division Series. Indians score the first 3 early on and hold on to clip the White Sox in the season finale of the regular season for both clubs. 3-1, and the Indians move on in the postseason. The news this hour is a service of the Cook County Department of Public Health. Prevent mosquito bites and the diseases they carry, like West Nile. Fight the bite this fall by removing standing water and wearing repellent and repairing torn window and door screens. Learn more at fightthebitecookcounty.com, sponsored by the Cook County Department of Public Health. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains how the media works.
This is what happens in the media. This is so important to understand. Something is reported, and if the media pick it up, then they amplify it. And after they amplify it, everybody believes it. So they really are an echo chamber. They say X, everybody believes X, and then they report X as if it is a given.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Our time in Chicago this morning is 6:35. We'll pause for a check of the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. That information for you from Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's heavy on the eastbound side of the Adams Tollway, starting before the Tri-State onto the Kennedy at Nagel, where there's a 3-car crash. Another one at Lawrence just cleared. It was very heavy on the Kennedy. 54 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 12 from Montrose, 8 in the Express. Outbound 51 to the airport. Westbound 190 has stop-and-go traffic. Kennedy to the Tri-State. Eastbound Eden Spurs slow. Waukegan Road to the Edens. Then it's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 20. The Eisenhower is now 49 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 34. Stevenson 59 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan 26 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow from the Adams Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic service at Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business. Low prices. Paper, ink, and toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, buy 2 reams of Staples brand paper, get 1 free. Select SKUs in-store only, plus tax where applicable. Ends 10/7. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A breezy, warm day ahead. We'll have some sunshine filtering through the high clouds, high 81. A moonlit sky overnight and warm, low 65. Another warm day tomorrow, high of 83. And we hope the forecast is right with some rain beginning on Wednesday and a high of 75. Currently 63. Your next news update at 7. Continuous news coverage of the latest from Las Vegas with Fox News, our newsroom, and Dan and Amy coming up next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, again, will continue to update the details as they become available from Las Vegas. That worst mass shooting in U.S. history, more than 50 dead, at least 50 dead. 200 plus injured is the last report we got from Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. The shooter, the responsible party, dead at the scene. A person of interest that apparently lived with him has been located, and that's about what we know at this point.
Yeah, and of the 50 dead so far, it's awful. 2 were off-duty Las Vegas police officers. I mean, this was a concert. Jason Aldean, it was a 3-day concert, and he had just opened up his set about 10 o'clock last night, their time, so 12 o'clock our time, and shots rang out, rapid fire. Then there was a pause for about 40 seconds, and then there was another rapid fire round shot from a 30-second window in the Mandalay Bay Hotel.
So we'll keep you updated as information becomes available, but now we turn our attention to local politics, because this is a development, particularly after last week where when Governor Rauner lied to the Illinois electorate and lied to the House and Senate Republican caucuses and signed abortion on demand taxpayer funding.
And he lied to Cardinal Cupich.
And Cardinal Cupich, too.
That's a straight way to you-know-where.
So after that, a lot of the talk was about a primary for Governor Rauner. And by the way, that talk continues. But over the weekend, the Illinois House Republican Minority Leader, Jim Durkin, got a primary. Jim Durkin has been in the General Assembly for some total of almost 2 decades. And, was the leader who watched 15, or nearly a third of his caucus, vote for massive tax increases with no spending reforms. Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. Neither does his record. And neither does his business practices as a legislator, because he's a municipal lawyer who represents local units of government while voting on legislation that benefits his particular law practice. So we spend a lot of time talking about Madigan writing the property tax laws and then working as a property tax appeals attorney and how it's an inherent conflict of interest. You check out PrairieStateWire.com, one of my outlets, and the conflict of interest that Jim Durkin has as a municipal lawyer, encouraging and doing debt deals for local units of government while voting on legislation with respect to local units of government incurring debt. That's an inherent conflict of interest when he's a public policymaker on the topic and a private attorney benefiting from the public policy decisions he makes, particularly when he's acting as a junior associate to the political firm of Madigan and Cullerton, as he did when he voted for legislation that was opposed by a supermajority of Republicans in his own caucus that allows local governments to transfer ownership of future income to a lender by creating a separate entity through which, in the event of bankruptcy, bondholders would get the first crack. Here's what it does in sum, because it's a little bit esoteric. But Mark Lennon, who writes over at wirepoints.com, susses this out very nicely. Instead of fighting, this is Mark Lennon speaking, instead of fighting to keep ownership of public assets in public hands, he, meaning Durkin, is feeding the debt beast that has many heads: bond issuers, buyers, law firms, credit rating agencies, and underwriters. It's a financial version of the military-industrial complex. They're very powerful, and crony capitalists abound. Durkin's spokeswoman said he has no conflict of interest because he represents municipal governments, not bondholders. Well, just even that statement alone is laughable on its face. He represents municipal governments. Oh, you mean municipal governments who lobby the state for funds? Municipal governments through with which politicians at the state level interact as a matter of course, and there's no conflict of interest with him representing particular municipalities, including being a purveyor of debt in a state that is drowning in debt. That's Jim Durkin. And now you know why he's getting a primary challenge, at least from my perspective, from a conservative reform mayor in his district. He's the mayor of Burr Ridge. He's Mickey Straub, and he joins us now. Mickey, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hello, Dan. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be on the line with you.
Well, so give us the rationale for your candidacy. I kind of imposed one on you just with respect to this story about Durkin's intersection between his political representation and his law practice, but tell us in your own words why you're running.
You know, I'm glad there's people like you that have done all that research and have all those stats. But personally, you know, I'm running because I want to help Illinois get on the right path. You know, I couldn't stand the pain anymore, and I especially after I saw the way, you know, 15 what they call surrender Republicans jumped ship and voted with the Democrats for the tax increase, and the other reason is I want to have a chance to make a difference and give the people in my district an option to elect an 11-term representative or first term, or somebody with old ideas or someone with some fresh ideas.
Well, excuse me for expressing myself here. I'm a coach of a 5th and 6th grade girls volleyball team, and I'm trying to figure out which has more drama, that team or the Illinois Republican Party. Because didn't your super PAC convince him to run to primary Durkin? Or is Mickey, are you doing this on your, or did you just decide to primary Durkin?
Actually, it's a combination of things. It's this idea was born long before I had a conversation with even local conservatives. I've been a principled Republican for years. I'm a Reagan and Lincoln guy who has been done some things just to promote fundamental Republican principles. But in the end, it was really I just couldn't stand the pain anymore. When I saw 15 people jump ship, I realized there's something going on in Springfield. I'd like to have a chance to make a difference.
And since you're interviewing me as well, no, my super PAC didn't convince anybody to run. Okay. Thank you for asking. Mickey, did you hear from Jim Durkin once, or anybody in the kind of the Republican Party establishment? Because, I hear a lot of things from little birdies, little crows that send me scrolls all over the state. And anytime there's a primary challenge to one of his incumbents, much less him, all the sharp knives come out from the establishment trying to push people around. Heard about this in a number of districts around the state. And so I wonder what your experience has been since you announced, or even kind of prior to the, or during the run-up to your announcement.
Yeah, actually, just in the run-up, I received a phone call. It was a very stern voice, someone who was very upset. It was Jim Durkin, and he was upset that I was running, and I couldn't talk then, but I gave him a call the next day. But I found out, but I was still nervous the next day, because it's not every day you're talking to the leader of the Republican Party, and he was obviously upset that I was even considering it, because I've known Jim for a long time, and I like him as I do know a lot of other Republicans around the state, and so it was a bit of an uncomfortable conversation.
Well, did he try to talk you out of it?
Yeah, he was
more like threaten you out of it,
or threaten you out of it. Yeah.
Well, it depends on your definition there. He was definitely tried the guilt trip at first as to how could I be doing this, etc. And
Mickey, what happened to us?
Pardon me?
Mickey, what happened to us? One of those lines.
Me, it's you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, one of those. But I don't like to criticize people. So at first I was kind of nervous and mentioned something about, hey, I feel it's my chance. I feel like it's a calling to run. But I really didn't want to make him feel bad about it. I stopped short of really telling him why. But he definitely he was very clear that I did not know what he was inferring. Of course, I did not know what I was getting myself into, and that I wasn't. How do you say it? You're not going to know what hit you.
Mm-hmm. Oh my! That sounds more like a threat than
a little bit.
Why are you doing this?
There's a story over the weekend in the Tribune, Mickey. Fed up Illinois homeowners consider moving. For example, Rick Mallon out of Villa Park is fixing up his home so he can move to the Florida Panhandle. I'm getting out. He's 67 years old. It's not just the property taxes on my home. It's all of them. Others commenting similarly. Iowa Hawk, who's one of our favorite tweeters, tweeted over the weekend, 12-month housing starts. Austin, Texas, with 2 million people, 14,400 housing starts. Chicago Metro, with 8 million people, 7,500 housing starts. Mm-hmm. 4 times the population, half the housing starts. That tells you a lot about where the trajectory is. And even though you are running to represent communities that are, upper income communities of Burr Ridge and Western Springs and Hinsdale and so forth, the same thing is happening to homeowners in those communities with respect to property taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mentioned before, but the reason why I'm running is I can't stand the pain anymore. I can't stand the pain going north to Wisconsin or south to Indiana and seeing all this wonderful development of houses and businesses, and it's jumping over Illinois. And one of the primary reasons for that is our home values are decreasing. Our property taxes are one of the highest among the nation, and it's time to cut taxes, reduce spending, and attract businesses and families. If we can do that, we can make an impact. Maybe reverse the tide. success leaves clues, but so does failure.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing.
And give people a sense then what you've done as mayor of Burr Ridge, because you have a public record, as does Jim Durkin.
I ran in Burr Ridge again to make a difference. I wanted to get the bridge built originally across County Line Road, and little did I know that when I jumped in, I have to cast my first tie-breaking vote in my second board meeting just to build a bank, because a lot of villages, this one included, was not necessarily the most embracing of businesses, and I had to cast I think 3 tie-breaking votes since then, primarily to help businesses prosper and help make them feel welcome as they come to the village. And I'm standing on the shoulders of many people before me, but I wanted to keep that trend going with Burr Ridge. And we've had a great run the first 4 years, which anyone could see on my Mayor Mickey website. And we're continuing. And I'd like to be able to take what I learned and really I do 2 things. I build relationships and solve problems. That's my primary role as mayor, and I'm hoping to be able to do that in Springfield.
And for those interested in your candidacy, what is your website?
It's MickeyForIllinois.com.
And you're not going to co-opt the Tony Basil song, are you, as your campaign theme song?
She won't appreciate that.
No, right. I don't want, once you get a strongly worded letter from her agent. All right, Mickey Straub, he's a Republican candidate for state representative out in the western burbs, Western Springs, Hinsdale, Burr Ridge, obviously where he's the mayor, running against House Republican Minority Leader Jim Durkin. Mickey, thanks for joining us. Good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. A look at this week's economic calendar. The federal government shows support for a Georgia nuclear plant project. Those stories and more next.
Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929.
This week, investors get the latest Purchasing Managers Manufacturing Index, or PMI, as well as data on consumer spending and factory orders. And Friday, the latest jobs report. Just a little over a year after Walmart spent more than $3 billion for the fast-growing online retailer Jet.com, it will launch a higher-end grocery line targeting millennials. It's Walmart's effort to contain Amazon.com. Amazon last month closed on its acquisition of Whole Foods. The federal government is showing support for the continuation of the construction of 2 reactors at a Georgia nuclear power plant. Secretary of Energy Rick Perry has announced conditional commitments for up to $3.7 billion in additional loan guarantees to the owners of Plant Vogtle. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. According to CreditCard.com, cardholders in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan are carrying over $33,000 of debt on their credit cards. The Federal Reserve recently increased the interest rates 1/4 point, which, according to credit enhancement expert Gary Novell, will increase the average credit card holder's interest payments $825 a year. The good news is home values have rebounded, so now is an excellent time to use your home's equity to eliminate your stress, pay off credit card debt, and lower your monthly payments. To see if you can use your home's equity to pay off your debt, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I started out vomiting with migraines at the age of 19, and about 10 years later, it got to the point where it was almost every day. This stuck with me for about another 20 years. When I was introduced to this balance of nature, I couldn't believe how quickly the triggers that would cause these migraines just went away.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's the reason so many people are talking about their Point Blank experience.
Brett was very friendly, and he answered all my questions. And because I'm new to pistols, I'm really grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference. ShootPointBlank.com for more information.
From Struck Films.
Where did you come from?
The true story of a stray dog.
Who are you? That's Pluto.
Who saves a struggling family in more ways than one.
What's wrong? This isn't working anymore.
Sometimes help comes from the most unlikely places.
I don't need you. He's trying. He really is.
Sometimes one dog can change everything.
You're awfully small, aren't we, boy?
From the director of The Other Side of Heaven, The Stray. Rated PG. For theater locations and more information, visit thestray.movie. In theaters Friday.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
Are you looking for a way to create the life you really deserve? Hi, I'm Dean Cain, actor, director, and real estate investor, and I have to tell you about this amazing opportunity you just can't afford to miss. The National Real Estate Network is offering a free DVD called My Network is My Net Worth, where you can see for yourself the house flipping system that has taken the nation by storm. Who would have thought creating a network of thousands of investors working together to find, fund, buy, or sell properties for profit was so simple? So if you're ready to start making money flipping houses, call now to get your free DVD.
Call 1-800-437-1471 now for your free DVD and learn how to get started making thousands of dollars flipping houses. Call 800-437-1471 immediately, and you'll also get free tickets to a live training event where you'll receive a free meal and a gift package worth hundreds of dollars just for attending. Call 800-437-1471. That's 800-437-1471 and get your free DVD today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy updating the story out of Las Vegas, the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, at least 50 dead, at least 200 injured, and we're updating it all morning. The shooter is dead. His
live-in or friend, we have been living together since July of 2017. She's been taken into custody. They're finding out what she may or may not have known about this, but she's a grandma, and a mother and a grandmother. And if you look at her Facebook page, she just, she used to be a high-end casino hostess.
No, hostess in a high-limit room at a casino. And so the other piece of that information with respect to her is that according to Vegas police, she was in the car with the shooter. Stephen Paddock is his name, has been identified.
64-year-old. They're both from Mesquite, Nevada.
Although we got to stop saying his name. I hate when we do that. But she was in the car with him prior to the shooting. And then whether or not what she did exactly is a bit confused, whether she's an accomplice or she tried to warn people. We just don't know.
Yeah, because there's a 21-year-old who was at the concert in the first row, and she said a woman kept coming up to them and telling them to get out because you're all going to die.
Now, the number of, we believe it's
Okay, I can't find it, but we'll play it for you later. But it's really chilling and then you just don't know which account to believe, that is whether or not she was out there warning people or she was out there working with the gunman. Quickly want to tell you about the movie Mully. It's in theaters for 3 nights only, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And you can buy tickets now at mullymovie.com. It's a gripping story about forgiveness, faith, love, humility, and it'll really connect you and make you, take a second look at your relationship with God. Wonderful movie. We had Dr. Charles Mully on. And again, to see the movie, go to mullymovie.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk the politics of Puerto Rican hurricane relief with NRO's Jonah Goldberg at 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following. Fox, obviously, with the very latest on the developing situation in Las Vegas, where 50 are dead and more than 200 hurt following a mass shooting at an outdoor music venue and concert along the Las Vegas Strip. As Dan and Amy mentioned, Congressman Gutierrez, returning to Chicago after visiting Puerto Rico, will get his reaction. And a man tries to abduct a woman in the South Loop. WIND, Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. It's the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. I'm Dave Anthony. Those shots came raining down on a big crowd at a country music festival in Las Vegas, killing more than 50 people, injuring more than 200 others.
I thought that it was pyrotechnics, maybe, from the, over at the concert.
We didn't know. We had no idea. We didn't know if this was somebody on the ground that was moving towards us with a rifle.
No, the bullets were coming from high above along the Las Vegas Strip.
There was a shooter on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay.
Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo says officers rushed to that room
and engaged the suspect at that location. He is dead.
And he's ID'd as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, a Nevada resident. Federal law enforcement sources tell Fox he was known to local authorities. They don't believe Paddock has connections to terrorists. A woman said to be his roommate, who was sought for hours after the last night's shooting, is believed to be in custody now. In the chaos after, people helped victims, and first responders got help from anyone who could.
Right now, we need your truck. We just need to get people over to the hospital, okay?
Okay, go ahead. Put them all in the back.
Okay. Can you pull over?
Fox's Adam Housley showed up at the scene shortly after.
I saw these kids coming out. I mean, kids, 20 years old, 19 years old, with no clothes on because they've given their shirt up to somebody to try to stop bleeding, and they have blood all over them. And then we met, Robert, the firefighter, and he said that he pronounced 20 dead himself. And we saw 3 bodies over here, and my producer Lee saw a body over on the intersection in front of Tropicana.
President Trump has tweeted his warmest condolences and sympathies to the victims and families of the terrible Las Vegas shooting. God bless you. Country singer Jason Aldean was performing when those shots rang out and put out a statement that it was beyond horrific, and it hurts his heart. This would happen to anyone who was just coming out to enjoy what should have been a fun night. Again, more than 50 people dead. Fox News, fair and balanced.
62 degrees, mostly cloudy skies this early morning. Winds from the southeast at 8. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott on AM 560 The Answer. Police investigating another attempted abduction in Chicago. This morning, authorities say a man attacked a woman last night, tried to carry her toward a car parked near 18th and Morgan. Passers-by actually ran over to help before the suspect dropped the victim and drove away. An autopsy scheduled later today for a woman killed in a Wheaton car accident over the weekend. The 3-vehicle crash happened Saturday on Butterfield and Naperville roads. One of the drivers remains in stable condition. Congressman Luis Gutierrez back in Chicago after helping FEMA crews hand out supplies in Puerto Rico.
I saw people who had their entire homes, everything in their home, washed away. Their sofa, their TVs, their mattresses, and nothing. There's no response from the federal government.
Gutierrez took time to criticize the Trump administration's response and called for massive military intervention. The suburban Alsip man is dead following a rollover crash on I-57. Police say the accident happened yesterday between 105th and 111th, and the man has been identified as Christopher Watts. An Elgin School Board member who we talked about on the AM 560 late last week, who compared the American flag to toilet paper, says she's received death threats online. U46 board member Tracy Ellis telling local police she received the online threats after posting her comments on Facebook about the flag. Reds clipped the Cubs 3-1 in the season finale at Wrigley Field. The NL Central Division champion Cubs now take on the Nationals in the division series beginning on Friday. Season over for the White Sox after a loss to the Indians, who move on to the postseason. The news, a service of Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards on color copies, manuals, and presentations. They're designed to impress. Staples, it's pro time. Offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't believe what he's seeing out of Hollywood.
I want to thank Trump for making black people #1 on the most oppressed list.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I don't care about these people. I'm only playing it for you so you get a taste and a feel for what vitriol and hatred just exists out there for this president. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender means choosing more than just a rate. Does calling the company with 11 J.D. Power Awards for client service matter? Does calling the company that invented Rocket Mortgage, the industry's most innovative technology, matter? If working with America's #1 online lender matters to you, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home, wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT, home, safe home.
7:05 and a check of the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has actually improved a bit after a couple of earlier crashes. It's 48 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 16 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes to Montrose, an hour and 2 minutes to O'Hare, and heavy on westbound 190 as well. Edens, 29 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 24. The Eisenhower, 54 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 46. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 27 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Tri-State southbound stop and go. The Adams Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound heavy from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and Irving Park to the Adams Tollway. Adams Tollway heavy, Lee to Manheim, and the Tri-State to Kennedy. Reagan Tollway, 53 to 355, 22nd to the Tri-State, northbound Veterans Memorial, so 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Bentley to Roosevelt, the Army Trail Toll at the Lake, Northwest Indiana's fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, breezy and very warm with some sun. High 81. Warm tonight with a moonlit sky, low 65. Breezy and very warm again tomorrow with partial sunshine, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63 officially at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7:30. Continuous news coverage, the latest breaking developments from Las Vegas, both with our newsroom, Fox News, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We'll continue updating the details as we get them with respect to the worst mass shooting in U.S. history in Las Vegas in the early morning hours. More than 50 dead, more than 200 injured, according to Las Vegas police. The shooter who opened fire from the 32nd story of the Mandalay Bay Hotel on a area filled with concert goers to a country music festival was killed at the scene. His roommate,
yeah, it's
a person of interest at this point, has been located and taken into custody. And that's about what we know.
And a lot of the police officer who took him down, the SWAT team member, in extreme critical condition this morning. 2 off-duty Las Vegas police officers were killed. A Bakersfield, California police officer who was working security for the concert at the time is in critical condition as well. The images are horrific. You know, people listening to Jason Aldean just trying to enjoy a Sunday night open air concert, and 30,000 people were there, and people were running for their lives.
And unfortunately, we know that this is likely to become a political football, as all these mass shootings invariably do.
Yeah,
won't be right now, although it's sort of already starting.
They'll check his voting record just like they did with Jared Loughner and everybody else.
And more importantly, try and identify his motive. But what's also become a political football, going back to Katrina, is the federal government response to natural disasters. And so the federal government response and the Trump response, in part through Twitter, but only in part, to the need for relief and aid to Puerto Rico after the devastating impact that Hurricane Maria had on the island, has become a political football. And weighing in over the weekend, and start with the non-politicians.
Okay.
FEMA Administrator Brock Long on the topic of the criticism being directed at the federal government response.
First of all, so we have great communication with Governor Rosselló, and I know that the president has spoken with him today. The vice president was with us as well. Not only Governor Rosselló, but Governor Mapp and the Virgin Islands. They were hit pretty hard as well. Bottom line is we have great communication. The governors are part of our unified command effort. The problem that we have with the mayor, unfortunately, is that unity of command is what is needed to be is ultimately what's needed to be successful in this response. The bottom line is we've had a joint field office established for numerous days in San Juan, and what we need is for the mayor, the good mayor, to make her way to the joint field office and get plugged into what's going on and be successful. So I think that's the bottom line on that tweet.
So the mayor of San Juan, of course, is the woman who's been donning the Luis Gutierrez-provided T-shirts over the weekend, changing her tune on her assessment of the federal government response and Trump's response to
people
the
don't
island.
know she's been living in a shelter herself. And on Saturday, while President Trump was tweeting this, she was out in chest-high water, handing water out to residents to make sure that they're okay. But what President Trump tweeted is, such poor leadership ability by the mayor of San Juan and others in Puerto Rico who are not able to get their workers to help. They want everything to be done for them when it should be a community effort.
Yeah.
To me, he's just flat out calling Puerto Ricans lazy and dependent.
No, actually what he's referring to is Teamsters who won't drive supply trucks.
Because they don't have diesel fuel to fuel the trucks.
That's not the only reason, and there's an interview with a representative of the union talking about union issues. So that's not it. Puerto Rican CEO Jorge Rodriguez, New York Post editorial, who was the head of an international engineering firm in Puerto Rico, talked about sending his 50 engineers to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. He sent him to FEMA because, quote, for the last 30 years, the Puerto Rican government has been completely inept at handling regular societal needs, so I just don't see it functioning in a crisis like this one. Navy Captain Jerry Hendricks, in an interview in Bloomberg, who actually was, for decades, a service officer on the high seas with high-level staff jobs, Chief of Naval Operations Executive Panel, Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Policies, Irregular Warfare, Quadrennial Defense Review, and so on and so forth, assessing from a professional perspective, someone who knows about a military and civilian response to natural disasters, the federal government response so far, and was generally positive about it and undermined some of the specious arguments made by political hacks like El Gallito and his minion in San Juan. For more on the politics of Puerto Rican hurricane relief, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Jonah Goldberg, National Review columnist, the author of numerous books, including bestsellers, including Liberal Fascism, The Tyranny of Cliches. Jonah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be here, guys.
So what's your assessment of the assessments of the federal response to Puerto Rico?
I'm a little bit of the Iran-Iraq war state of mind on all of this. I think that it's pretty obvious that that Puerto Rico's local government has problems, that Puerto Rico is in a terrible, terrible situation. And I also think that the mayor sort of decided to make this a partisan thing, which I thought was ill-advised. And I thought that it was ill-advised for Donald Trump to join in that game, and to make this seem like he was putting blame on the Puerto Ricans. And you can defend, the thing is, people who really like Donald Trump can defend Donald Trump on just about anything, but they often lack a certain amount of imagination about how other people are going to perceive what he does. And as a political PR matter, I just thought this was shoving his chips into the pot and walking away from the table. He had gotten shockingly good press from the mainstream media for how Harvey and Irma were handled in both Florida and Texas. You know that if there was anything for the press to beat up on Trump about in terms of the federal response, they would have found it, because that's the story they obviously wanted to run. And yet, both of those things, as bad as those hurricanes were, and as much credit as I think local governments in Texas and Florida deserve, Trump didn't screw it up. Trump, got great press for all that and handled it pretty well, and he just sort of drew back a lot of the political capital he earned from those things by getting in the gutter and having this sort of silly, spat with a clearly partisan mayor of San Juan.
Well, she wasn't slamming President Trump directly, though, when she was asking for help. She was asking for help from anybody, from Cuba, from any other Caribbean islands. Can somebody please just help us? And then he takes that as a personal attack, and then they have this incredible war of words, and I just think he stepped at it, and he's got egg on his face. And
I agree with that. I think there's something to be said for taking the high road. There's something to be said for acting presidential. And I think, look, the mayor of Puerto Rico had to have some political sense of what she was doing when she was sort of essentially slamming the response from the U.S. federal government. She probably didn't count on the fact that Donald Trump would take it personally, but Donald Trump takes almost anything imaginable personally if he can. But I just think that there's blame to go around on both sides, but I think Donald Trump deserves more because he's the president of the United States. He is supposed to be above, take the high road on a lot of things, and we've now live in a society where a lot of the president's biggest fans celebrate the fact that he takes the low road, and I'm not part of that crowd.
Well, so here's the thing. I mean, a couple of things. One is, I agree that he shouldn't have tweeted. It was unnecessary because the federal government response from the professionals can stand on its own merits and give lie to what the San Juan mayor was saying about the federal response, which was a reversal of what she had been saying just a few days earlier to point up the partisanship. And by the way, she's also being identified as a political hack by, as I mentioned, local business leaders, as well as a former attorney general for Puerto Rico who described her as such, and she's just trying to position herself to run for governor of Puerto Rico. So he could have left the politics with her and, as you said, taken the high road. I agree with that. But in terms of the merits of this, one of the things that, as you said, the media was looking for there, Katrina with Donald Trump, well, they didn't have anybody to cry racism in Houston or Florida, at least nobody that bubbled up to the surface. And she has in Puerto Rico, so now they have their news peg.
Yeah, look, I mean, you raise a point that kind of drives me crazy. Look, I'm sort of ideologically homeless or politically homeless these days because when I praise Trump, I get all sorts of grief from the left, and when I criticize Trump, I get all sorts of grief from the right.
I hear you, brother.
One of the things about the sort of mainstream media's desire to go after, the way it goes after Trump. Look, Chuck Todd is a friend of mine. He's a host of Meet the Press. But this weekend on Meet the Press and on some other shows, you saw these people trying to sort of connect the dots to make his spat with the mayor of Puerto Rico about racism and bigotry. And, they connect these dots going back a year to that former Miss America or Miss Venezuela or whatever.
Brought that up again?
Right.
Yeah, and the point is...
It's like a beautiful mind. Yeah.
Donald Trump is a runaway fire hose of invective towards anybody that bothers him. And when a fire hose goes nuts, it's going to spray on a lot of people. And if all you want to do is pick out the black and Latino ones and create a narrative that he's bigoted against blacks and Latinos, it's very easy. But you could also pick out a narrative where he's critical of Jews or of tall people or of left-handed people. I mean, because he's a counterpuncher and he criticizes people whoever goes after him. And what I think is sort of fascinating that the way the media does this is that they don't know how to talk about something being bad unless it's bigoted or racist or sexist. Like, if Donald Trump gets into a spat with Mika Brzezinski, it has to be sexism, right? And I'm not saying he's not necessarily a sexist or anything like that, but if he gets into a spat with me, I don't think it was anti-Semitism, which, we did get into spats. It's just that he grabs the nearest weapon to hand against any critic that comes after him. And I just think it's sort of interesting about the psychological laziness of the mainstream media, that they need it to be about bigotry and racism because they don't know how to talk about things in any other terms.
Which is why then it's so easy to turn around and undermine them. So the black Democrat mayor of Houston wasn't a problem. The response to Houston, which is a third white, a third black, a third Hispanic. The response to Florida, which has a huge Latino population. I mean, those weren't problems. So he wasn't a racist then. And then when Maria hit, he turned into a racist as it pertains to hurricane relief. I mean, it's just laughable on its face. And I think that's what people respond to when they're put into this binary.
Right, but the problem here is that he kept saying to reporters and tweeting, we're doing a good job in Puerto Rico. I know 7 family members who we still can't find. So don't say it's a good job. And don't, like the acting Homeland Secretary Elaine Duke saying there's going to be some good news stories coming out of this. Come on, people haven't even contacted their loved ones yet. I mean, we don't even know where they are. You can't say a good job because we don't, there could be hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people dead, and we don't even know because we can't get into those villages to find them.
I got no objection to that whatsoever. I think this desire, I think the White House didn't want to deal with another hurricane story.
With hurricane fatigue.
I think they felt like, hey, my gosh, we got 2 hurricanes in a row, and we came out looking pretty good, and then there was this third one, and it hits this island that, I don't think Donald Trump has a huge amount of warm feeling for. I don't think it's necessary because he's bigoted. I just think he just doesn't care. He doesn't think about Puerto Rico. It's not like Texas or Florida, the states that he needs electorally. And
yeah, they don't vote in the general. They vote in primaries.
And I think they just sort of was like, let's get this out of the news cycle as quickly as possible. And the problem is that the facts on the ground don't lend themselves to that. I mean, Puerto Rico was devastated, and it's also got long. I mean, Donald Trump is right when he says Puerto Rico has serious structural fiscal issues that were a huge problem before it was hit with a hurricane. And I think he's just not being very presidential about it, but he's sort of, you could always tell what Donald Trump is thinking because he telegraphs it. He sort of says it out loud or he tweets about it. And he just wants this thing to go away, and he doesn't want it to be his fault, and he doesn't want it to be his problem when they try to figure out how to fix Puerto Rico, once all the debris is cleared, and it's a mess.
I really don't think he should visit Puerto Rico tomorrow. He should cancel that trip. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's probably right, yeah.
I would never go there.
Well, Well, now also because of the Vegas situation, he's going to have to address today. But anyway, Jonah Goldberg, he is a National Review columnist, the author of numerous bestsellers, including Liberal Fascism and The Tyranny of Cliches. Jonah, thanks so much for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up, your phone calls 312-642-5600 about the situation in Puerto Rico, and should President Trump cancel his visit. Forecast for today, breezy, warm, some clouds right now, some sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 81. Jim Talamonte is in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here he is.
Amy, day morning on the Tri-State northbound. We have delays from 87th to LaGrange Road, the Stevenson to 47th, and it's really heavy from the Reagan Tollway, 88, to the Adams Tollway, I-90. On Adams Tollway, stop and go lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from Naperville Road to 355 and 22nd to the Tri-State. Veterans Royal to Boughton, most of the way to Roosevelt and Army Trail to Lake Edens. 29 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, 58 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Quicker in the locals than the express, outbound 52 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, 57 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 46. Stevenson, an hour, 355 to the drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
It's time for a little R&R, courtesy of your friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Escape to Wisconsin with an overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. One-night trip, normally $169, only $85 at CRD.com. If you want to stay closer to home and want a night out, then be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets normally $44 a pair. Find them at CRD for only $22. So fun and adventure is awaiting you from your good friends at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I used to take 7 vitamin supplements, and I still felt sluggish at times. But with Balance of Nature, I don't feel sluggish at all. Don't do what I did. I took 7 different supplements, vitamin supplements, and they really didn't help in the long run. I still felt sluggish, but with Balance Nature, I have the extra boost of energy, and I thank you all again. I really, really mean it.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his 2 business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-5338. That's 1-800-900-5338. 1-800-900-5338.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy getting a response to the federal government's response to the Puerto Rican crisis after Hurricane Maria. Just heard from Jonah Goldberg on the topic. Let's take a couple calls. Brian in Irving Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was hoping to talk to Mr. Goldberg, but I just want to say, you know what, don't give me this nonsense about how he got this unusually favorable press. That's only because they couldn't find anything else, but it wasn't for lack of trying. They sat there speculating about whether this is going to be his next Katrina, and he was cared too much about the optics. He didn't care enough about the optics. All right, don't give me this high road crap. George W. Bush sat there and took the high road while he took punch after punch after punch in the chin and the gut, and it still wiped out every bit of his political capital. All right? So John McCain, he was the high road candidate. He lost. Mitt Romney, you can't get more high road than that. He lost. Donald Trump, he said, you know what, the heck with the high road. I'm going to start punching back, and he won. And that's not a coincidence.
Thanks, Brian. Scott on the west side.
Hi, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. Amy's statement that there's possibly hundreds and thousands of dead people in Puerto Rico is so over the top. It's her liberal coming out.
Scott, 26 are confirmed dead, and right now, half of a dozen of the hospitals are having bodies that are piling up at the morgue, so they haven't even counted because of almost half the hospitals, they don't even have generators. So they're bringing, the Red Cross is bringing what they call a floating hospital over, and they're handing out generators, but they need to get gasoline to the generators.
Actually,
to work.
two-thirds of the hospitals are now up and running with electricity because of those generators that have been deployed.
That's fine, but I mean, there's
well,
case
that's
after
fine.
case
I mean, that's a fact.
No, a man died. Oxygen never came.
Yes.
Generator, the gas never came from the generator, so he died.
It's a horrible thing that happened. There's human tragedy that's occurring. People are in desperate need of the staples of life, and it's not all Trump's fault. I don't know why you can't separate those two.
You know what? I'm not blaming all of this on Trump. I don't like the fact that he's saying that we're doing a good job, and he's patting himself on the back before we don't even know what the death toll is, before loved ones are even found. He's got to grow up a little bit and stop tweeting, for God's sakes.
Deborah in Palatine.
Well, we are doing a good job, and I get sick and tired of people attacking the United States. We always step up. You know, the people of Washington, Illinois, my daughter lived there in the tornado. They didn't just wait for people to help them. They helped themselves. That's what you have to do. And I am tired of the United States being bashed because we step up more than anybody in the world.
Oh, Deborah, they are trying to help themselves. They stay in gas lines for hours. They're foraging for food. They need help. Why don't we drop a pallet of water or food pallets down to remote areas? That's what it's been 2 weeks now. Today's 2 weeks, and now we have 10,000 troops on the ground. But after the Haitian earthquake, after the Haitian earthquake, it was within 2 days we had 8,000 troops on the ground, and they're not even Americans.
We have 10,000 plus FEMA operatives. We have 3,000 plus National Guardsmen, in addition to all of the amphibious action, the amphibious landing, light amphibious carriers, the Kearsarge, the Wasp, that were deployed anticipatorily, and the Comfort that's been scrambled, which is like essentially a huge floating hospital, as you mentioned. I mean, the idea this is just like
this is 2 weeks later.
No, it's not 2 weeks later. It's been happening since before the hurricane made landfall. So, I mean, it's just your emotion in total contravention of facts on the ground. You just don't care about the response. You don't care about the details.
I know that there's 10,000 semi-trucks there, but they don't have a way to get to the people because there's no diesel to run the trucks. There's no people to drive the trucks because they're subcontractors, part of a union, and half of them, their families' homes were destroyed too, and they're out there looking for food for their family and gas. And also, the roads are impassable. There's down power lines everywhere, and there's trees.
So how does that have to do? What does that have to do with the response?
That we should be.
We should be doing stuff we're not doing, but I don't know because I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's detail free. It's describing the catastrophe on the ground, and then saying somebody should do something about it faster. Of course, I'd love for it to be resolved with the snap of a finger, the flip of a light switch. It's not that easy.
It's been 2 weeks.
I know, that's your response. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. And Puerto Rico should be pre-Hurricane Maria because it's been 2 weeks. I don't care about the response. I don't care about details. I don't care about facts. I want it to be like it was before Hurricane Maria because I want it to be like that. And if it's not like that, then people in charge have failed.
Just want to find our loved ones, Dad.
Yeah, okay. Coming up at 7:37, we'll take more of your calls on Puerto Rico. Hear from the former Puerto Rican Attorney General, among others, assessing the San Juan mayor. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Outside, we have partly cloudy skies, 61 degrees officially. At least 50 are dead in the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Las Vegas Sheriff Joe Lombardo.
We are comfortable that the primary aggressor in this event has expired or passed away and is no longer a threat.
The horrific event took place at a country music concert at a venue on the Las Vegas Strip, and more than 200 others are injured. Drew Akiyoshi captured this audio showing the fear, the gunfire, and the remains of the Jason Aldean concert. Police storming a room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino where they shot and killed the shooter. We'll continue to follow the developments in Las Vegas this morning as police continue their investigation. Meantime, FEMA Director Brock Long has been talking with reporters this morning about the federal government's response to hurricane damage in Puerto Rico. Called it the most logistically challenging event the United States may have ever seen.
We're not going to be satisfied until the situation is stabilized. And the bottom line is that this is the most logistically challenging event the United States has ever seen.
Long talking to Fox News. Opening statements are scheduled in the trial of the accused New York City bomber in Manhattan federal court. Ahmad Rahimi is charged with planning a pressure cooker bomb that went off last September that injured 30. Here in Chicago, police are investigating another attempted abduction in Chicago. A man attacked a woman last night, tried to carry her toward a car park near 18th and Morgan. Passersby actually ran over to help before the suspect dropped the victim and drove away. Suburban Alsip man is dead following a major rollover crash on I-57 on Chicago's far south side. The accident happening yesterday. Christopher Watts, according to police, died at the scene after being thrown from the vehicle. Reds clipped the Cubs in the season finale at Wrigley Field, but Cubs' eyes are all on the National Division Championship Series, which begins on Friday against Washington. Indians scored 3 first-inning runs, and they beat the White Sox 3-1 in the Sox season finale. The Tribe moving on into the postseason. And the Bulls raise the curtain on NBA preseason play tomorrow night. The news service of Chili's new burgers, ribs, and fajitas. Chili's has news bigger than their new ribs, and their whole menu is better, and they're focused on one thing: burgers, ribs, and fajitas. Half-pound Big Mouth burgers, Texas-sized ribs that have more meat, and fajitas sizzling with 48% more chicken and beef. Come in today and see why Chili's is back. 7:35, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The founder of Black Lives Matter said white racist hate speech is not free speech.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Again, somebody stupid on the left, not understanding our Constitution, not understanding the First Amendment. Hate speech is protected.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The private bank is now CIBC. Their name may have changed, but their commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-5338. That's 1-800-900-5338. 1-800-900-5338.
7:37 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Mike, the inbound Edens is running 29 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 24, the Kennedy. After a couple of earlier crashes, 58 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 28 from Montrose. Outbound 52 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 46. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 43 minutes. The Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the Tri-State, it's very heavy on the southbound side, 21 to 137. Northbound 95th to the 83rd Street toll. 75th to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Big jam on 390 eastbound Gary to Rodenberg with a crash in the right lane. Traffic service with Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards. Color copies, manuals, and presentations that are designed to impress. Staples, Pro Time, offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. A breezy day ahead, warm with some sunshine, high near 81. A moonlit sky and warm 65. Breezy and warmer tomorrow, high 83. And in the forecast, a chance of rain on Wednesday. Currently, officially 62. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We've got an update on this awful mass shooting in Vegas that has left at least 50 dead and at least 200 injured. There have been off-duty police officers, 2 in Vegas that have been killed. We have the shooter is dead thanks to quick response from Las Vegas SWAT. His live-in room, well, his live-in companion friend of some sort, who was identified by Las Vegas police, then her location identified, taken in custody as person of suspect. And
yeah, and now they're saying that she was not involved in the shooting whatsoever, and she has been cleared and free to go. But they were questioning her because obviously they are roommates, and her credit card ID was found inside that Mandalay Bay hotel room where the shots were fired, along with several other handguns and rifles. So, and again, that valiant SWAT team member who's in critical condition this morning, he exchanged gunfire with him. He fatally shot the suspect, and the police officer or the SWAT team member is still in critical condition. But it's just a horrifying. I mean, it's the worst, the deadliest mass shooting in our country's history.
The sniper from a 32nd story window at the Mandalay Bay Hotel onto a crowd of concert goers for a country music festival Jason Aldean was playing at the time. And we don't know the motive yet. One of the interesting things that was reported was that Las Vegas police didn't believe he was connected to terrorism, but knew of him.
Yeah.
So we'll fill in these details about the shooter as they become available, obviously, as well as updating the conditions on all of those who were injured, including first responders. But turning back to Puerto Rico, over the weekend, as the Puerto Rican relief effort continued to be politicized, you had a wide range of perspectives, including Puerto Rican officials that took issue with the San Juan mayor. Here is former Puerto Rican Attorney General Joe Fuentes on CNN debating the issue. He had this to say about the. Wait, do we have? Where's Fuentes? Do we have Fuentes here? Well, there was one response. In addition, you have the response from
El Gallito.
Well, yeah, but Victor Rodriguez. He's the head of the Teamsters Union in Puerto Rico. He was interviewed on Spanish television. It's in Spanish. I would just give you the translation. He suggested that the reason that all the supplies aren't being trucked out to people in need is because of the diesel supply. But the interviewer expresses some skepticism because she brings up the fact that authorities have put out a call for independent non-union drivers to volunteer because of a lack of people willing to do the work. So there's some question whether this is a union boss blocking union members from doing work if it's not going to be essentially union scale, union pay scale. And so supplies are unnecessarily sitting on docks because of the dearth of truck drivers to distribute them. That's an issue, as well as a number of other issues. But we'll take your calls, and I'll try and effort that AG audio. Let's go to...
Look. It's Peyton and Eli's father.
Jaime on the north side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. So what can you tell us about Puerto Rico and the relief efforts and what is happening and what is not happening?
Well, that's it's Dan, right?
Yes.
So you just said that she lacked details. I mean, I can tell you my brother just flew back this morning at 5 a.m. He came here to visit his daughter for 3 days, and now he's going back. I can tell you, I provided details to Amy. I don't know if she relayed that to you, but, you know, my family, my direct family is in harm's way. My cousins don't have water or food. 3 of my uncles, including my dad, are veterans of the Vietnam War. There were 48,000 veterans, Puerto Rican veterans in Vietnam, 236,000 in World War I, 68,000 in Korea. My point is that this adversarial view that the president seems to take is completely contradictory and hypocritical in the sense that one of the platforms he ran on was to support veterans. My uncle is a veteran. He's recovering from a stroke in Ceiba. I just took my kids there this summer to visit him, and they can't get supplies at the rehab center. You know, the union stuff, you know, this isn't political. I realize
It's not political. It was the San Juan mayor who made it political after she reversed course. Number one. Number two. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. The other issue is separate the two issues. Nobody is saying Puerto Ricans are not patriotic people. Nobody is saying that Puerto Ricans shouldn't get the help they need as soon as they possibly need it. There's a difference between the substantive assessment of the response from the federal government and Trump's tweeting. And it seems to me there are certain political people who can't distinguish between the two. And when I've tried to focus on the substance of the response as it's so been described by, you know, professionals, former Navy officers who have long-standing histories with responding to natural disasters. So the substance of the response is different than the human tragedy that's ongoing and that needs to be addressed.
I'm offering to you is first. So my dad was the assistant district attorney in Puerto Rico when we lived through 4 hurricanes in the 80s. He's been a federal employee on the island. He was an employee for 30 years. He was knee-deep in that. I can tell you firsthand that the response is not appropriate. Firsthand. I was in Puerto Rico.
Be specific.
So what should have been done or what should be happening?
Okay, so let me explain, and Amy touched on it, okay? The bottom line is that in Ceiba and Salinas and some of these towns are inaccessible. Okay, and the reason that, I mean, I don't even listen to a lot of those tweets, but the reason it's so insulting is because, again, I know firsthand that there are 75-year-old women, 80-year-old women and men removing debris. There are people in schools removing asbestos by hand. Okay, and so my point is that it's not that there are not supplies there. It's not you're checking the box and there are supplies. Listen, there's a problem. Let's fix it. It's not about blame. That's the problem with all this. Everybody's trying to blame each other. Forget about it. The mayor, regardless of her political affiliation or motivation, okay, is living in a shelter. Okay?
I'm still trying to get a specific.
Should they airdrop pallets of
what
food
should
and water?
What should be done that's not being done? What should be done that's not being done?
There's no way to transport aid into the towns that need it the most.
Because why?
Because there's no there's no manpower. Because you're talking about drivers in the union. People can't. My cousin drove an hour and a half to work yesterday to go to the office, was able to get on the internet to email us that she was okay, and then sat 4.5 hours for gas. That was the update. I don't know how long she ended up waiting. You talk about like mobilizing the workforce there. The workforce can't move. So
yes.
The bottom line is we need to drop fuel. The U.S. clearly, if need be, can drop as much gasoline and fuel on that island as humanly possible.
So you think
they're not doing why are people?
You think we're slow walking? You think we're slow walking the delivery of fuel to the island?
I'm telling you the fact. The pregnant woman last week sat 12 hours at a gas station and ended up not getting gas. If that's the need, then we need to that needs to be addressed tomorrow, because these are U.S. citizens. If this happened anywhere else in the U.S. and people were without fuel and we couldn't get supplies up into rural areas, you just got to do what you got to do.
Look, all right, thanks for the call, Jaime. Look, I'm in agreement. The whole thing is like some people want this false choice. Some people want Puerto Rican people in need to be helped and some people don't. It's absurd. If I could wave a wand and get all those people all the life-saving support they need, I'd do it, of course. The question is, what is possible and on what timeline? When this first happened, you had professionals who have experience dealing with the most devastating natural disasters in human history, most notably thinking about the tsunami and earthquake in Phuket a decade plus ago, in addition to all of the other examples that have been referenced, saying, look, it's going to take us weeks to just do an assessment on where to deploy resources, how to spend money to rebuild the infrastructure necessary to perhaps get in water, food, fuel to people, or to get people out to get them to water, food, fuel, shelter. I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not saying that people aren't in need, and I'm not saying I don't have empathy for those that are suffering. Just saying the idea that somebody is slow walking what we could do, we're just not doing it. I mean, I'm not an emergency response professional. And most of the people talking on this topic aren't either. But I do listen to Brock Long, the FEMA administrator. I do listen to naval officers who've had experience with natural disaster over natural disaster, describing the resources that we have and how we use them. Let me just give you an example again, going back to Jerry Hendricks, this Navy captain, retired, who sat for an interview with Bloomberg.com. And it's fascinating. He goes, this is one of the things. One of the frustrating comments I recently received with this Navy should have had the Comfort manned and ready prior to these hurricanes, the Comfort, big relief ship. Given that it had been over a decade since the nation suffered a major hurricane-related disaster, the argument my friend was making suggested we should man the hospital ships each year during the 3-month hurricane season. This would cost tens of millions of dollars each year. At the same time, the Navy is shrinking and has less money and time to man, train, and equip its combat and regular naval presence force to meet its day-to-day tasks. We've had a ship grounded and 3 collisions in Western Pacific over the past few months, largely due to the strain we've placed the Navy under. If people want the Navy to be more ready to respond to natural disasters, then they need a larger Navy that is more flexible and has the funding to train and maintain ships. I mean, part of this is the decisions that we make. And I know Jaime said about 3 hurricanes in the last 50 years or whatever, but everybody that I've heard say this is the worst hurricane, this is the worst hurricane in 100 years in Puerto Rico. But we're all supposed to have anticipated, the federal government too, because they have perfect knowledge. Of course they don't, I'm being sarcastic. And even though there were anticipatory steps taken, and even though it was the third in a string of 3 hurricanes, somehow, because of a Trump tweet, we're not helping people that we otherwise want to help as fast as we want to help them.
In his tweet, he basically was saying that they're lazy people. And that, I think, was what Jaime was trying to make, or trying to tell you, is that, you know, what they want everything to be done for them when it should be a community effort. They're just trying to survive right now.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But it just doesn't help when President Trump does that.
He should. The tweets were unnecessary. But the tweets are not emblematic of the response, and it's very much like this whole business about the flag. People protesting think that they're protesting Trump. And what people actually see is you protesting and denigrating America. People, attacking Trump for the tweeting, they think, oh, they're just attacking Trump. What they're actually saying is the federal government, the National Guard, FEMA, the Navy, they're to blame. They're not responding. They're racist. I mean, come on. Come on. Bob in Park Ridge, Puerto Rico. Bob in Park Ridge.
It's a PR.
Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Hey, Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a point. Puerto Rico, why don't you ask people who are complaining why Puerto Rico is bankrupt, why it's in such a shambles, because it's a very corrupt government.
Yeah, it's just
Has
like
been,
Illinois.
always will be.
Yeah, thanks for the
it
call,
is.
Bob. I mean, we're the Puerto Rico of the Midwest, I mean, in terms of finances. But yes, of course.
Yeah, there's $70 billion in debt. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, they had to get essentially a restructuring package through the federal government. And so that also limits the things you can do with respect to investing in infrastructure and maintaining it and having emergency preparedness. So, and it's not blaming like, oh, well, so because they mismanaged their government, we're not going to send help. Of course not. But I'm just saying, let's have an honest assessment of this. What's the tagline from Friday Night Lights, that great show? Clear eyes and full hearts. You can have both. You can have a full heart and have empathy for people who are suffering, but also clear eyes to try and do your best to assess the situation and be honest about it. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Jim in Naperville.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
So, Dan, you've pretty much said a lot of things I was thinking over the last couple minutes. Thanks for that. I want to focus two questions. And one is, I would really like to know where that mayor got that T-shirt. Did it come from CNN? Did it come from Cuban? Did Gutierrez bring it down? Where did it come from?
No, she was on the air long before Gutierrez arrived with that shirt on.
Okay, so I'm thinking Cuban or CNN. And I'd really love to see that answer come out as to where exactly that thing came from. The other question I had is, Amy, Puerto Rico's a mess, no doubt about it. 2 hurricanes completely wiped out. I've not seen it firsthand, but it's a complete mess. So I understand you'd like the response to be quicker. Everybody would. I think everybody feels for these people. But you yourself mentioned a week or two ago that you're going down there during spring break to help in the rebuilding effort.
I'm going to St. Croix, St. John. Yes.
Okay.
They're
I thought you said Puerto Rico,
No.
but anyway, my sense is that just like FEMA said, they're going to be in Houston for months, if not years, trying to help rebuild Houston. I'm sensing Puerto Rico is probably even longer.
Thanks, Jim. Ray on the north side.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for taking my call. I just want to say I think it's absolutely horrific the fact that we're criticizing these help efforts. When someone's helping you, at the end of the day, it's help. So the fact that whether it's slow or fast, its help is on its way. Unfortunately, it's not at the speed that people would like it to be at. And I believe, I don't know how on this report is, but I heard that they dropped off 300,000 tons of food. That is a lot of food for 3.5 million people that have been affected by this. And if that's the truth, I mean, it's there. It's just going to take some time. And for you to sit there and criticize these efforts, it's just disgusting to me.
Thanks, Ray.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I love it. I see a tremendous difference in my skin, in my nails, in my hair, in my energy.
Unlike the people that I hear on the radio, you know, I've had vitamins before, but this is makes a much bigger difference than vitamins ever did. That's for sure.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. Your sump pump is the only thing in your home standing in the way of water rushing in and damaging the personal belongings you care so deeply about. Yet it is often the most overlooked and unappreciated system in your home. Your car has a check engine light, your computer warns against viruses, and your fridge tells you when to change the filter. So why shouldn't a sump pump warn you if there's a risk of losing tens of thousands of dollars in water damage? A pump that just beeps warnings at you is no good if you don't hear it. Over the decades of our business, we've experienced and analyzed every reason why people's homes flood. With today's technology, we believe that flooding is not just unacceptable, it is now completely preventable. That's why today's best practice for flood prevention is to install a protector system with built-in self-testing and notification. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
Two strong banking teams have united to help you continue to grow your business with the same dedication and even more opportunities. And we have a new name. The private bank is now CIBC. The same team you know and trust now brings deeper resources, global banking reach, and the power to help your business seize new opportunities. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit us at cibc.com/US. Member FDIC.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Need a CPAP? Then we need you. We're CPAP.com and we carry popular brands of CPAP equipment, including ResMed, Respironics, and more. To move inventory, we're selling some of our ResMed CPAP machines at prices lower than you would think. Call now to learn more about these affordable ResMed CPAPs. We'll even provide free shipping on your ResMed machine order so you'll get it fast. Call 1-800-600-7101. The best part? No insurance needed. Our CPAPs are priced so low they can even cost less than your copay and deductible through insurance. CPAP.com has shipped over 1 million orders and carries a large inventory of sleep apnea equipment. With little retail overhead and no middlemen, we're the best way to get comfortable, effective sleep apnea equipment at incredibly low prices. Again, CPAP.com has a large inventory of ResMed CPAPs and is offering free shipping on these devices. Call now for these great deals and others. Call 1-800-600-7101. If lines are busy, please try again. That's 1-800-600-7101.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
This is a Fox News alert. A concert turns into a killing field. I'm Dave Anthony. You can hear the gunfire. While Jason Aldean was performing on the Las Vegas Strip late last night, more than 50 people are dead. Well over 400 are injured.
It sounded like machine guns. It sounded like more than one machine gun. And it just didn't stop, like 30 minutes.
She was a vendor who hid in a beer truck as others ran or ducked for cover.
So we all huddled, and I put my arm over my two sisters, and a gentleman in front of us laid over the top of us. We saw people next to us shot in the face.
As the shots came raining down from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, people were helping people who'd been shot. Fox's Adam Housley talked to one right after.
How many people did you help? How many people did you see down?
How many people did I see down? Probably close to 20.
In various, obviously, conditions?
Look, man, I'm not wearing any clothes up here. Everyone who I thought, has passed on, they have an article of my clothing covering their eyes, covering part of their body. Everyone who I saw breathing, I helped, man.
A SWAT team got to the shooter's hotel room and found him dead. He's identified as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock.
The only thing we can tell is he received a citation several years ago, and that citation was handled as a matter of normal practice in the court system.
That's Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo. There are reports Paddock had at least 8 guns and platforms to shoot from. President Trump has reacted. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The president was made aware of the mass shooting by White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, and the White House says the president is following developments in Las Vegas very closely. The president taking to Twitter this morning, writing, "My warmest condolences and sympathies to the victims and families of the terrible Las Vegas shooting. God bless you." Dave?
And John, Jason Aldean had a statement that said tonight has been beyond horrific. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
61 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. As Fox News continues to follow the story in Las Vegas, we will as well here, both in our newsroom and with Dan and Amy throughout the morning. Meantime, here in Chicago, police are investigating another attempted abduction in Chicago. The man attacked a woman last night and tried carrying her toward a car parked near 18th and Morgan. Police are crediting two passersby who ran over to help, and the suspect then dropped the victim and drove away. An autopsy is scheduled for later today on a woman killed in a Wheaton car crash over the weekend. The three-car crash happened Saturday at Butterfield and Naperville Road. One of the drivers remains hospitalized this morning in stable condition. Congressman Luis Gutierrez back in Chicago after he and others helped FEMA crews hand out supplies.
Entire homes, everything in their home washed away. Their sofa, their TVs, their mattresses, and nothing. There's no response from the federal government.
The Northside lawmaker toured the island over the weekend with FEMA authorities, and he's called for a massive military intervention. Suburban Alsip man is dead following a rollover crash on I-57 on Chicago's far south side, and police this morning identify that man as Christopher Watts. Could be a very divisive primary for Illinois Republicans next spring. Burr Ridge Mayor Mickey Straub yesterday announcing his bid to unseat Illinois House Minority Leader Jim Durkin. Straub says it's embarrassing that Illinois continues to lose people year over year. You heard Straub this morning on the air here on AM 560 with Dan and Amy. Cubs beaten by the Reds in the season finale at Wrigley Field, but it really didn't matter. The starters were pulled off the field early on as they began concentrating on the NLDS and the Washington Nationals later this week. Bears had yesterday off following a road loss Thursday to the Packers. They get the Vikings a week from tonight. White Sox fall to the Indians in their season finale, 3-1, the Tribe moving on in the playoffs. The news service of Accountemps. Unplanned absences happen at every company, even when payroll is due. When your payroll or accounting team is short-staffed, call Accountemps. They provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or a project basis and fast. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Altice cable customers will be able to watch ESPN, ABC, and the Disney Channel. Disney and Altice have reached a tentative deal. Their dispute over fees threatened to black out more than 2.5 million cable customers in the Northeast. Altice operates the Optimum cable service. The British government is working on substitute flights for stranded Monarch Airlines passengers. The company filed for bankruptcy and grounded its planes this morning. There are up to 110,000 passengers left with no flights. In a few years, electric cars could be priced lower than traditional cars, says Cowen analyst Jeffrey Osborne. He says batteries are becoming more affordable and other companies are working on electric cars. The Dow was up 23 on Friday, NASDAQ up 42. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. Choosing the right mortgage lender involves much more than just a rate. Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards for client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage, a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online. No one else has anything like it. So choose Quicken Loans, America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Equal housing lender, NMLS number 3030.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you, whether you're at home, your business, or online. We help keep you safe with security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
Message and data rates may apply.
Warning, texting while driving is illegal just about everywhere. So if you want to take advantage of a life-changing LASIK offer, pull over when you can, because a special opportunity is just one text away. The LASIK Vision Institute is offering absolutely free evaluations and dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK. Text the keyword VALUE to 350350 to get the benefit of FDA-approved LASIK technology that gives the majority of patients 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Text to schedule your free appointment to see if LASIK is right for you. When you text VALUE to 350350, you'll also get an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Today, it's your turn. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you've always wanted for a fraction of what others charge. This great offer is just a text away. Text VALUE to 350350. That's VALUE to 350350.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy's jammed. Harlem to the Hubbard Tunnel is an hour and 11 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 36 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound 44 to the airport. Eden's 25 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 32. Eisenhower's an hour and 8 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 53 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 3 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour and 7 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 29 minutes from 95th to downtown, southbound Lakeshore Drive. Heavy Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, northbound from 18th Drive to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State stop and go 21 to 137. Northbound 95th to the 83rd Street Toll, 75th to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway most of the way to the Adams Tollway. Adams Tollway slow, explains Oasis to 2E with a crash in the left lane, then from Lee to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway tied Farnsworth to 59 and 22nd to the Tri-State, Veterans Memorial. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, and Army Trail to Lake. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Breezy with some sun today, high 81, then a moonlit night, low 65. Breezy with partial sunshine tomorrow, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, high 83. Becoming mostly cloudy at night with a late night shower with thunderstorm around, low tomorrow night, 67. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 61, clouds and a bit of sunshine this morning. Your next news update is at 8:30. As always this morning, breaking news as it happens, the situation in Las Vegas. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy, which continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so Vegas police have updated the situation in terms of what went down as far as they know it in the early morning hours this morning, and what the injury and death tolls are. Still reporting more than 50 dead, but now doubling the number of people that have been injured to north of 400.
And they're asking people who live in the area, they need blood desperately. So they're asking people to go to their nearest location, the hospital. Red Cross has set up a blood donation center to help the survivors because there are 400 of them. We're also learning that inside the shooter's room that was on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Resort, they found 8 weapons, several long-range rifles, and ammunition, and then also the MasterCard debit card of this woman that they were searching for, Mary Lou Danley. And apparently we have just learned that they found her out of the country.
We have located her out of the country. She was not with him when he checked in. We have discovered he was utilizing some of her identification, and we've had conversation with her, and we believed her at this time not to be involved. But obviously that will be, that investigation will continue.
So this,
as far as his residence in Mesquite, we have officers now there serving a search warrant.
So this is the issue, as we said from the beginning of the show, in the first hours after something as horrific and massive as this.
the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, there's going to be misreporting. So initially, it was reported that she was in the car with him prior to the incident. Now we find out from the update from Las Vegas police, he was in the hotel room for 4 days. She was out of the country. She's a person of interest no longer, at least for the time being. Secondly, something else that appears to have been misreported initially was that the shooter, who is dead, was shot and killed by Vegas SWAT. Now the story is self-inflicted.
Yeah, they are saying the sheriff was saying that he had committed suicide, shot himself while they were entering the room. But CNN and others are still reporting that he was killed by police when they stormed the room. So it's
conflicting reports.
Yeah, again, and that's why a SWAT team member is in critical condition, very grave condition. CBS had reported because of the shootout with the gunman, but it's just
we don't know motive. And there's a lot of things circulating on social media that are unsubstantiated that I'm not going to dignify by repeating. But this is something that's interesting. That's fact. The fact is, back in May, ISIS actually sent out a propaganda video threatening Las Vegas. And it put Las Vegas cops on alert. That was a headline back in May 26th, May 25th from Fox News. Las Vegas authorities on alert over ISIS propaganda video. Is that in any way related to this? No idea. I'm just saying that is a fact. And the other thing that's a fact is also this weekend you had Islamist-related terrorist attacks in Edmonton, where 5 were injured, including a police officer, as well as in southern France, where 2 were killed by a guy who had an ISIS flag in his truck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, we don't know the motive. And the reporters kept asking him, he said, I don't know his ideology. I don't know his religious beliefs. We don't know at this time. He lived in Mesquite, Nevada with that woman since January 2016. But they're searching his house right now. He had no prior arrests except for one citation, which isn't that could be even a driving ticket.
Yeah, it could be a speeding
ticket. But yet they
ticket.
said that he was on their radar.
They said they knew of him.
They
or
knew
something.
of him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cryptic in a way that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you'd want to know what they knew of him and how whatever they knew looks in retrospect. But
and this is what it sounded like when the concert. So Jason, oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name. The performer,
Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean, excuse me. He had just begun his set. This was 10:08 p.m. their time, so 12:08 our time, and this is how it went down. And then Jason Aldean drops his guitar, runs off stage, and people are realizing what's going on. They thought it was fireworks at first, and then they know it's not. And in this time, I guess the shooter reloads because then he goes off again on the crowd. People, some people ran, some people piled on top of each other to try and save each other's lives. But every story is just horrific of how they tried to stay safe and get out of harm's way.
Well, you've got to.
But thankfully, there was a guy, a very heroic guy, that was near this little small room, and he funneled about 20 of us into this little production, like a little room under the bleachers. And I got to tell you how horrifying that was, because I saw about 6 younger gals on their knees crying. And I'm trying to calm them, and I'm thinking, this is Orlando. I'm thinking we're all going to die like in this little room.
Of course, it calls to mind Orlando. It calls to mind the Ariana Grande concert in London, where you had the terrorist attack. And you've got a guy who's on the 32nd floor, essentially a sniper with, sounds like an automatic rifle, AK or an AR, and just spraying bullets in a crowd of 22,000 people.
And you had mentioned earlier that it was right near the airport, so some people literally took to the runways to try and get away.
Yeah, they were running on the runways at McCarran, such that McCarran Airport there, which is close to Mandalay Bay, had to divert flights for a time while Mandalay Bay was on lockdown, and they also cleared neighboring casino, New York. They cleared a local Indian restaurant because they were just, hearing, of course, information from all quarters and trying to separate fact from fiction, find out where the shooter was, if there were other shooters, and so they methodically did. Police officers and first responders went place to place, in addition to, of course, the SWAT response to Mandalay Bay. And, of course, in these times, it calls to mind the heroism of first responders and police officers in just unbelievably horrible circumstances like this.
And one bizarre incident that took place, a 21-year-old girl, they're celebrating her birthday in the first row at the concert when an incident happened with a woman who's Hispanic who warned them that people are going to die. This is 45 minutes before the shooting.
Obviously, she was telling us that in either to tell us to warn us or to tell us that we were all going to die, and she was part of it. So
okay, so they want the description of this woman. Describe to me what this woman looked like.
Her and her boyfriend were both Hispanic. They were probably about shorter 5-footers, probably about 5'5", 5'6". They just look like everyday people.
Can you tell us anything more about them, what they look like? Why were they escorted out? Were they escorted out because you were feeling uncomfortable about what they said?
Yes, because she had been messing with the lady in front of her and telling her that she was going to die, that we were all going to die. So they escorted her out to make her stop messing around with all the other people in front of them, but none of us knew that it was going to be serious.
Yeah, it's interesting that she says that they said we were all going to die and that she was part of it. Now, I haven't heard any more information about this alleged Hispanic male and female, or if they've identified any persons of interest that fit those descriptions or anything of the sort from law enforcement yet, but that's chilling.
Or if Mary Lou Danley maybe said something to family members that something's going to happen at this concert and they went in to warn people. I mean, who knows? But even if it's just coincidence, that is strange. That sends a chill down my spine.
Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
First of all, I think that we should have a Take Down the Exes Day at least once a month, because that was awesome, Dan. Getting to my point.
Well, there's not enough days in the month. Not enough months in the year.
Well, we don't want to start going after prom dates. But
Right, yes.
my comment is, if you've ever been to a hotel like the Mandalay Bay, you look down the corridors of these rooms, and they're basically endless.
Yep.
And that they shut him down as quick as they did is a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Holly. You're right. I mean, I can only guess, but somebody must have either identified the sound that was coming from that room or saw the barrel flash coming from a 32nd floor window. But even still,
God,
you're right,
great.
to get there as fast as they did. But I mean, this is why we want to stand on the side of law enforcement in a civil society.
And this is why we want to stand up for the national anthem. Just saying. It's a great example.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine, some high clouds right now, but it will be very sunny by this afternoon and warm. A high of 81 degrees, average for this time of year, 70. Moonlit sky tonight, and tomorrow it's going to be breezy, warm with partly sunny skies, a high in the mid-80s. Let's get to our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound 22 minutes. Light Cook to the junction, outbound 31. Inbound Kennedy. Jam, Harlem to Hubbard. An hour and 11 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 36 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound 51 to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 53 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound 58 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 45 minutes. Ryan is 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. 57, 34 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 427. Southbound Tri-States, though, 122 Eau Plaine. Northbound Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and from the O'Hare Oasis to the Adams Tollway. Adams Tollway heavy from the Des Plaines Oasis to Toohey after a crash. Reagan Tollway's now good. Veterans Memorial, still I-55 to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
By the way, it's worth noting that President Trump is going to speak this morning on this massacre in Las Vegas. After your choice of spouse, where you send your kids to school is the most important decision you make. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Northridge Preparatory School, an independent Catholic school for boys, grades 6 through 12. No brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. Northridge Prep instills the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm. It's a good place to be a boy. I'm impressed by the men who teach there. They're great role models, deep thinkers, accomplished academics, who get to the heart of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves, underline. Northridge Prep grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, have top athletics and arts programs, and are ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois and a top 100 high school in America from U.S. News. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on October 22nd. To learn more about their October 22nd open house, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender means choosing much more than just a rate. Let me ask you, does calling the company with the best client service in America, with 11 J.D. Power Awards to prove it, matter? Does calling the company that invented Rocket Mortgage, the industry's most innovative, client-focused technology, matter? Does calling the company with 17,000-plus team members who are helping to rebuild the great cities of Detroit and Cleveland matter? Of course it matters. No wonder our clients have made Quicken Loans America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Hey, we're also learning, according to Fox and Friends, that the smoke alarm went off in the shooter's room in Mandalay Bay that helped pinpoint his location for first responders.
Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay Bay. What was I?
You keep saying mandolin like
No,
you're Bruce Hornsby.
I'm playing the mandolin. Mandalay Bay. If you've been procrastinating to buy a MyPillow, the MyPillow 4-pack deal is expiring October 9th. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal by using the promo code AMY, Dan, promo code AMY, A-M-Y. Because
I turned that on to our friend Richard Porter, Illinois Republican National Committeeman, who asked, he wanted to make sure he got the promo code right because he was buying some pillows this weekend.
Did you AMY, right? Not AMIEE.
No,
it's old school.
And
AMY.
Richard Porter is our MyPillow listener of the week, I think.
Thank you. Well, he'll be getting the absolute best deal available anywhere. It's the 50% discount on the 4-pack, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, half off. But only for a few more days, so you can move the fill to give you the support you need regardless of sleep position. You won't wake up grumpy or with a stiff neck or headache. It's made in America, and you can wash them and dry them. 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. And True Patriot and founder Mike Lindell donated 60,000 pillows to Texas flood victims. So get your 50% off the 4-pack now, but only for a short time by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code AMY or visit MyPillow.com, promo code AMY.
Are you looking for a way to create the life you really deserve? Hi, I'm Dean Cain, actor, director, and real estate investor, and I have to tell you about this amazing opportunity you just can't afford to miss. The National Real Estate Network is offering a free DVD called My Network is My Net Worth, where you can see for yourself the house flipping system that has taken the nation by storm. Who would have thought creating a network of thousands of investors working together to find, fund, buy, or sell properties for profit was so simple? So if you're ready to start making money flipping houses, call now to get your free DVD.
Call 1-800-437-1471 now for your free DVD and learn how to get started making thousands of dollars flipping houses. Call 800-437-1471 immediately, and you'll also get free tickets to a live training event where you'll receive a free meal and a gift package worth hundreds of dollars just for attending. Call 800-437-1471. That's 800-437-1471. And get your free DVD today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
They really have made a difference. I mean, when I started taking them, I could not tie my shoes because of the knee pain. I have arthritis in it. And I actually bent down and tied my shoes by mistake. I was so used to not being able to do it. I couldn't believe I did it. And that was shortly after starting the Balanced Nature.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago. That's balanceofnature.com. Promo code Chicago.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's coming. Tomorrow, the movie Molly begins for 3 nights only, October 3rd, October 4th, and October 5th in select theaters in Chicago. I know it's at Webster Place on Clybourne there, and it's right by you.
AMC River East.
Yep. And my mom in Tucson and 9 of her friends are going to go see it. Of course, I'm talking about the movie Molly. It is about forgiveness, faith, love, humility. It's very well shot. It flies by. It's an hour 20, but it flies by, right, Dan? Because you saw the movie. Didn't you love it?
Very good, I did. And the story of Charles Mully is remarkable. Remarkable man, remarkable story.
So go to mullymovie.com. That's mullymovie.com. Buy your tickets now. And we, the producers and filmmakers, are guaranteed to, I mean, they say that if you're not inspired by this film, they'll give you all of your money back. So mullymovie.com.
Quickly, Dennis in Hammond, Indiana. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes. Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to make draw a comparison, if possible. I'm not trying to minimize the Las Vegas tragedy at all, but compare that tragedy to the tragedy in Puerto Rico. And there are people dying right now, probably in Las Vegas for lack of blood, or trying to, so I could perhaps fly to Las Vegas, donate blood. Or what if I flew to Puerto Rico to drive a truck? I am a driver. Just saying that to complain about the response to Puerto Rico when it's much more massive is really sort of ludicrous, because I think as a country, we are doing what we can, Puerto Rico, to help them.
All right. Thanks for
not to say that, go ahead.
No, I appreciate the call and the perspective, Dennis, particularly as a truck driver. Thank you for that. And it's a good segue because we'll pick up that conversation, starting with, can we have civil conversations anymore? What happened to Bill Buckley's firing line when the left and right would spar but not make it personal? This was the lament of Brett Stevens on Meet the Press. We'll start there and then get to the politicization of Puerto Rican relief at 8:38.
And Luis Gutierrez cries. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
61 degrees. Las Vegas police say over 50 people are dead and well over 400 are hurt following a mass shooting at an outdoor country music festival on the Las Vegas Strip last night.
We started receiving calls of an active shooter at the Route 91 Harvest Festival located adjacent to the Mandalay Bay Resort. There was an active shooter that was firing rounds from the 32nd floor.
Here is what Las Vegas police are announcing this morning after an update just moments ago. Joe Lombardo, the sheriff you just heard talking, says officers believe the suspected sole gunman, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock killed himself after firing at concertgoers while singer Jason Aldean performed last night. Lombardo said they believe a companion of that shooter, Mary Lou Danley, was not involved. An off-duty police officer is among the victims killed in the Las Vegas mass shooting. The Clark County Sheriff says several of his own officers were off-duty and attending that festival, and the Bakersfield Police Department in California says many of its officers were in attendance while off-duty. One was shot but is now expected to survive. The U.S. Supreme Court's new term begins today, and it's going to be a busy one. The justices will take up cases involving same-sex weddings, sports betting, and cell phone privacy. The man charged with masterminding the deadly attack on a U.S. consulate in Libya goes on trial today. Ahmed Katala is accused of organizing and directing the attack on the consulate in Benghazi that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans. Police are investigating an attempted abduction in Chicago. It happened overnight near 18th and Morgan. A new report says some Illinois teachers got to skip steps on their way to the classroom. The Tribune reported that Illinois lawmakers and state ed officials have eliminated or reduced some requirements for new teachers, and the process began as far back as 2011. Reds over the Cubs 3-1, but the Cubs were focused on the division series in the playoffs that begins on Friday against the highly touted Nationals. Meantime, the Indians beat the White Sox 3-1, season over for the Southsiders, while the Indians move on to the playoffs. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has everything you need for your business at low prices like paper, ink, toner, even office furniture and technology. Right now, buy 2 reams of Staples brand paper and get 1 free. Select SKUs in-store only, plus tax where applicable. Ends 10/7. Staples, it's pro time. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher puts things in perspective.
It's a fascinating thing to watch people sort of frustrated, angry, upset, and looking for a reason to be angry. We ought to be angry about the Republicans lacking the votes to pass the repeal and replacement of Obamacare. It's a heck of a lot more important than a bunch of players who are trying to disrespect the national anthem in this country.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
The private bank is now CIBC. Their name may have changed, but their commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now, 1-800-600-6779. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-6779. Again, that's 1-800-600-6779.
8:35 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound delays are from Austin to the Burn Circle. It's 58 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 33 from Montrose. 28 in the Express. Outbound 25 minutes to Montrose. 50 to the airport. Edens 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 31. The Eisenhower's an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 53 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 58 to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour and 11 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. And outbound it's 42 minutes. Ryan 31 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Bryn Mawr to Fullerton. Northbound Roosevelt to Jackson. Tri-State, the delays are northbound Archer to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Adams, the O'Hare Oasis to the Adams Tollway. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go. From the Des Plaines Oasis to Toohey. Reagan Tollway fine. Veterans Memorial. It's a jam from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Breezy and warm, some sunshine today, high near 81. A moonlit sky overnight, beautiful evening, low 65. Currently 63. We'll have your next news update at 9 with continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic and weather, and breaking news on the gunfire in Las Vegas. Claimed the life of 50 and injured more than 400 with Dan and Amy coming up next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldstone Financial, helping you become financially independent at goldstonefinancialgroup.com.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So meet the press this weekend. You had Brett Stevens, formerly of the Wall Street Journal, now of the New York Times, who, still, I guess, identifies himself as a conservative. He's a never-Trumper. Okay. He lamented the ability to have civil political discourse in this country. And boy, against the backdrop of the NFL protestations and the politicization of everything, including most recently Puerto Rican hurricane relief, and now with acts of violence. And by the way, the Antifa left condoning acts of violence, the belief on college campuses among 1 in 5 undergrads that using violence to suppress offensive speech is okay. It's a worthy conversation to have, Brett Stevens.
Look, a historian would say it was worse during the years of Adams and Jefferson. But I think in the last 20 years, one of the things that has happened is that too easily we inhabit our kind of social media filter bubbles in which we only hear and have reflected the views that we agree with to begin with. And the second thing is that too much of television has become a kind of rage factory for one side or the other, when there's never any actual meeting of minds. You simply caricature what the other side has to say or think, unpatriotic liberals or Neanderthal conservatives, and then you attack the straw man. So I think this has been going on for a long time. I think one thing, though, is that part of the problem is on campuses. I don't think we are teaching students as well as we ought the arts of persuasion and of learning how to handle a contrary point of view.
I don't disagree with that. I think anything Brett Stevens said, I think that's exactly right. Although here's the problem. Then Brett Stevens doesn't civilly disagree with Chuck Todd when Chuck Todd has this to say in response to what you just heard from Stevens.
Well, let me ask you this. I think a lot of people would point to cable television as well, talk radio as well. I'll give you one example, and some may fire at me for this, but I don't think it was healthy that we had a cable news channel run by a former political operative.
That's funny. Of course, he's referencing Roger Ailes and Fox News. But Chuck Todd, Brett Stevens, nobody made the point that they're uncomfortable with political operatives anchoring cable news shows. George Stephanopoulos. Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd, by the way. Paul Begala. Should I go on and read chapter and verse of leftist political operatives? David Axelrod, that anchor or are the featured contributors on the cable news channels? I mean, talk radio, right. There's
they have Rick Santorum, too.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they have Republican and conservative contributors, too. But my point is to say, you go after Roger Ailes running Fox News, but you're fine with political operatives posing as newsreaders.
Well, and also, who's running CBS News? David Blue's brother.
No, Rhodes. Ben Rhodes' brother. David Rhodes. Yeah, right. Exactly. Andrea Mitchell and Alan Greenspan, Al Hunt and Judy Woodruff.
Judy Woodruff. Yeah.
I mean, it's, on and on and on, the incestuous nature of it. And it's just hypocritical. And the fact that you've got so many people that are in the tank for the left, you think that enhances civil discourse when they do exactly what Brett Stevens just did, caricature conservatives in the conservative position, then trot out one contributor to offer the conservative opinion just so they can spend the rest of the news day disassembling it? I mean, come on. So it's interesting because of what's happened, and if this shooting in Las Vegas turns out to be political in nature. If it does,
I hope not.
I hope it. I hope. Look,
I mean, it's awful. Well, no matter what it was, it's terrorists. It's terrorism.
Well,
and people are dead. You can't bring back.
There's no question about that. But if this turns out to be something on the order of the softball shooting in Virginia, it's only going to be more problematic. It's only going to be more polarizing. And so it was interesting. Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro went undercover with to infiltrate Antifa.
They did?
Or Antifa, depending on the pronunciation.
They didn't recognize him?
They did a little mask. They looked like, a member of some 90s Seattle grunge band to kind of fit in.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And so here's what they had to say with respect to, them on camera, undercover. This is almost like a James O'Keefe Project Veritas piece. Antifa, just to give you a little sense of what their perspective is on the use of violence as a means of protest.
The willingness to respond with violence, the way that I would address what you were just asking about is I don't want to disavow an ally within the movement. The no pictures, that part, I would say it's understandable given what I was just talking about with anonymity.
Now, context, don't forget. What you gotta do can include violence against anyone you call a Nazi. They call Ben Shapiro a Nazi. They're allowed to commit violence against anyone filming them. And just how violent can they get?
If you go down to like the military surplus store, the Navy surplus store, whatever, you can get like a K-bar for like $30-$40, and it's just a combat knife. It's a fixed blade, 5 inches or so, but it's just you strap it on your leg and you're good to go. I mean, this one's like tiny, so you have to really stab them. Yeah, and like last stitch is gonna be lure them down here.
Whoa, hold. Luring people to their cars with sawed-off shotguns and handing out knives and shivs. This went far beyond a goof, and we needed to get Nake Jared out of there.
Well, that was one of his undercover guys, that's Steven Crowder, talking. At the beginning, you heard from an Antifa organizer in Utah, and then you heard on undercover video from a woman who's talking about getting knives that you can conceal and then stab people with, and if that fails, lure them down to where we are, where we have sawed-off shotguns and rifles. Does that sound like people who politely disagree? And the point that Crowder and Shapiro make with this video they produced is all of the support and the apologizing and kind of sanitizing of Antifa that's done by that left media that Chuck Todd was apologizing and sanitizing.
They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
What we saw were some brave people risking their lives.
That group protests fascism. Maybe their tactics weren't exactly right. It's messy.
Antifa are people who go and they try to push back on these guys, but it is not the case that they are going around building an armed movement.
Fascism cannot be defeated through speech. You need to take it with the utmost seriousness before it's too late.
Black Lives Matter, the Antifa movement, is interested in preserving the fabric of America.
Antifa is one of those things that somebody came up with as a catchphrase so that you could say, there is violence on the other side.
Why is that?
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Eric Dyson, academics from Dartmouth you heard in that montage, all defending and otherwise sanitizing Antifa as not engaged in violence, except to the extent that you had that Dartmouth professor on Meet the Press advocating for violence. You can't suppress fascism with free speech. He was making the case for violent protests, the use of violence as part of the protest. And importantly, you heard Crowder talk about anyone they label as a Nazi can then be the subject of violence. So Ben Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew, oh, no, he's a Nazi, so it's okay to exact violence against him. This is part of where we're at. And Antifa's small, but it's not inconsequential when they're on college campuses that Brett Stevens was talking about, and they're gaining acolytes, and they're using violence, and they're kind of open and notorious about it. By the way, the woman who talked about getting knives to stab people and talked about the arsenal they had, they referred her to authorities, and she was taken into custody.
Good.
As is appropriate.
That's what they should have done.
So now think about that in the context of, the parody from your Saturday Night Lives of the world in response to the hurricane relief response from the federal government and trying to personify it all in Trump's tweets. This is Saturday Night Live, their
season debut,
their weekend update this weekend. Here's the opener. Boy, even the audience had a tough time getting around this one.
President Trump was criticized for a terrible response to Hurricane Maria. This morning, he finally gave the people of Puerto Rico what they needed most: a bunch of tweets straight up calling them lazy. Trump said the people of Puerto Rico, quote, want everything to be done for them. Then he told his caddy to repair his divot and drive him to the next hole. Hey, Trump always said he was going to get things done faster than any other president. And now I believe him, because it took George W. Bush 5 years to get his Katrina.
Oh, that's... Oh, that's not...
And then
funny.
it continued with the co-anchor on Weekend Update, which, by the way, is difficult to distinguish from anchors on CNN.
After the mayor of San Juan criticized the government's Puerto Rican relief efforts, President Trump attacked her on Twitter, saying the mayor of San Juan, who was very complimentary only a few days ago, has now been told by the Democrats that you must be nasty to Trump. Oh, really, Donald? You bitch. Was she nasty to you? How nasty? Are you shaking? You want to go smoke a Virginia Slim until your hand stops moving? This isn't that complicated, man. It's hurricane relief. These people need help. You just did this for white people twice. Do the same thing. Go tell Melania to put on her flood heels, get some bottled water, some food, pack up some extra Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl t-shirts, and write them a check with our money, you cheap cracker.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'll tell you, I mean, those two, riffs that you heard from those comedians in quotation marks, is it, I'm honestly asking this question, is it that different than what you hear on CNN? Is it that different than what you hear on Meet the Press roundtables? While Chuck Todd and Brett Stevens are collegially lamenting the lack of civil discourse that doesn't get personal or demagogic. Is it really that different? I don't think so.
Well, sans the nasty words, yeah.
Well,
but
there's
comedians, I mean.
But they're making the same claim. He's racist.
Right, about the flood hills, it's
making the exact same claim, they're using different words. By the way, there's a response to the SNL skit that you heard there, the Weekend Update.
The cracker comment?
Yeah, there's a response from Joe Walsh, who also has a program on this show, that's wildly inappropriate. Wildly inappropriate. So this cuts a few different ways. There's some people ostensibly on the right that don't contribute to the conversation at all either. Joe Walsh tweeted in response to that SNL Weekend Update, he calls Trump a cheap cracker, quote unquote, on national TV. Would a comedian still have a job if he called Obama a blank N-word?
And he spells out the N-word.
Yes, he uses it, which is not the first time. And it's a little distressing to me, frankly, to have somebody who's so facile in the use of the N-word. First of all, those two words do not rise to the same level. The N-word and cracker do not rise to the same level. Completely different history. Obviously, the subjects have a completely different history in America. It's so unnecessary and such cheap instigation, cheap agitprop. I'm embarrassed for him. And I'm embarrassed the station puts him on the air. And if that gets me suspended, I don't care. That is crazy. It is so unhelpful. It is so inappropriate. He's just as bad using that, or worse, using that word in that way for kind of, for cheap generation of anger or resentment or exposition of hypocrisy as the worst of the left. It's truly embarrassing. David and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. It's actually funny that SNL is more factually accurate than CNN. So.
Oh, really? How's that?
I mean, they read Trump's tweets. The internet makes them up.
Yeah. So So they read Trump's tweets, and so does CNN. So I'm sorry, what's their point?
No, CNN makes up the tweets. SNL actually reads them.
Uh-huh. And? So Trump's a white cracker who doesn't care about families in Puerto Rico. Oh, David hung up. Because he was trying to make a funny, too. And it's about as funny as those guys on Weekend Update.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield. We cover major components of air conditioners, plus 20 other home systems and appliances, like electrical systems, plumbing, refrigerators, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-7011. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-7011. That's 1-800-400-7011. 1-800-400-7011.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's a wonderful product. I mean, it's an absolute wonderful product. I'm so grateful that I heard about it. Yeah. And at first I didn't take it faithfully. I'd forget. And then I'd say about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I really started taking it right. And what a difference. What a difference.
What are you waiting for? Good health is just a phone call away. Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
All that extra weight is messing with your health, your sleep, your social life, even your love life. Time to take control. I'm Dr. Frank Marticello, and that's exactly what I did. I always worked out, worked hard, and no matter what I did, I couldn't lose that weight. I then saw a picture of myself, and that's what did it. I had to search for a solution. I found the ideal method. I lost 80 pounds, opened Total Life Weight Loss, and that was 9 years ago, and I've kept it off. Listen to this.
I hated being on meds needed only because I was overweight. I was tired of being tired and wearing black all the time. So I turned to Total Life Weight Loss. It was truly a life changer. Total Life Weight Loss gave me support and strategies to get rid of the weight and maintain my new current weight. I love the way I look and feel.
This is a medically developed protocol that helps you lose weight fast, get healthy, and keep it off for life. Call Total Life Weight Loss now at 708-695-5999 to book your free metabolic assessment or attend one of our free educational workshops. Again, that's 708-695-5999.
Check out the Glock event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All the latest Glock firearms will be featured and on sale this Friday through Sunday and only at Point Blank. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms and ammo, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The Glock event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Check out shootpointblank.com for all the Glock info. Some restrictions may apply. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop provides a clean and safe indoor shooting range and retail store. At Point Blank, associates focus on customer needs, whether they're an expert or new to shooting. That's the reason so many people are talking about their Point Blank experience.
Brett was very friendly, and he answered all my questions. And because I'm new to pistols, I'm really grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Experience the difference. ShootPointBlank.com for more information.
The same banking team you already know and trust at the Private Bank has come together with one of the strongest banks in North America. And we have a new name. The Private Bank is now CIBC. We share the same focus on building strong client relationships, and we're now backed by a bank with over 150 years of experience in putting clients first. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to helping your business grow is now stronger than ever. Visit us at cibc.com/US. Member FDIC.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours. And when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business. And it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life.
One size fits all has no place in your bedroom. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of Helix Sleep, and we know one mattress can't work for everyone. That's why we created the only mattress built for you. Go to helixsleep.com, take our 2-minute sleep quiz, and we'll build your custom mattress and ship it to you for free. Try it for 100 nights, and if it's not the best sleep you've ever had, we'll pick it up and give you your money back. Go to helixsleep.com/talkradio right now, and we'll give you $50 towards your custom mattress. That's helixsleep.com/talkradio.
Hey there.
What's up, bruh?
Hello.
Aloha.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hola. Hi.
It takes a lot of voices to create the sound of us. The Y welcomes all of them with open arms. From career readiness to safe spaces, the Y is there, no matter who we are. Now, more than ever, they need your support. Donate to your local Y today. The Y, for a better us.
Read by members of the Y.
AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, tomorrow it begins in select theaters, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The movie is Mully. It is a must-see documentary about a remarkable man in Africa and how he sells everything he has to help those less fortunate kids that are abused, left on the streets. The movie is Mully. Go to mullymovie.com. Buy your tickets now. My mom already bought 9 tickets. So if my mom buys it, you should buy it too.
Phil in Evanston, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. I was just calling to agree. I hope they do suspend you. I think you should be ashamed and embarrassed for the comments you just made.
Yeah, you should be ashamed and embarrassed. Thanks for the call, Phil, you moron. You should be ashamed and embarrassed for defending the use of the N-word used so liberally. There's no defense for it. He was just asking a question. That's the statement that you wanted to make. I saw it on the call screen. Yeah, just ask a question. But you needed to use the word, didn't you? To cheaply inflame ill-thought-out passions. Hate, really. You should be embarrassed, Phil. Don't call this show again if I'm on it.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
Congressman Gutierrez back in Chicago will get reaction to his Puerto Rican trip. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. A massacre in